Alright, I'm ready.
Right, this is going to be episode 56 of Listen Loco. Just being Locodoco again. But it's just another episode where we talk about the MSI Group stage, which only just finished now. The last episode we did was after day 3. There are 5 days in the group stage. We now know the 4 teams that are set. Obviously, they are the big 4 that people expected from the major regions. But the order and the standings definitely ended up more interesting than people would have expected after the 3 days we talked about in the last episode. And pretty much every team, one of the things that was cool about this tournament, actually, is every single team in their own way got a moment to shine, got a little bit of a storyline going. I mean, even PvP and Flash Wolves obviously boasted, because Flash Wolves obviously upset Team Liquid, and PvP beat G2 twice. So amazingly, even like the lesser teams were able to do work and actually kind of show themselves. Like, I've got to say, even though I'm not... Right, here's the problem. I have this problem in Counter-Strike as well. I always tell people that if you have a really scrappy game and it's really exciting and back and forwards, you don't know who's going to win, I can enjoy that as a fan. Like, when I watch it, if I just turn my brain off and I just watch as a fan, I can get into it, you know. I can be like, oh my God, it's crazy. Oh, so unexpected. You get the thrill of, like, you don't know what's going to happen next. But whenever I'm, like, trying to analyze the game, those games aren't actually fun to analyze, because a lot of the things you're looking at, even like a genius player, is kind of like, well, he didn't really know what was happening there. You know, it just came out of nowhere, and then it's a chaotic situation, and no one can calculate like 10 people in a team. You know, there's a lot of scenarios. So the thing I will say is this, like, I think this meta was basically the reason why MSI was so sick. I don't really think personally that like all the teams are super good or anything, but this meta just made for like some amazing games in terms of excitement value. Entertainment value was very high.
Yeah, the meta has been very, very snowbally, and a lot on early game and a lot on mechanics. And when meta is about that and it's not so much about control or repeatedly like 5 people doing something together, you can get a lot more variance, and I think it really showed in the tournament.
It really did. Like, if you look at the number of games that, like, almost every upset basically just had the team that won going and getting an early game lead and just starting off strong. In fact, when I look at this tournament, right, I think you oversold during the split about how the game was all about like engage first, and, you know, whoever did the aggressive move first. Like, that was certainly, I would agree, the most effective style if you look around all the regions. But you could definitely play the other styles, as SK Telecom and Team Liquid showed us. This tournament was fucking all about being the first to engage. Because actually, I know everyone's going to say that like the whole jungle difference thing is months in the past. Dude, this tournament was all about jungle difference. Every time someone got their jungler ahead early game, they dictated the game, basically. You only had to be ahead a little bit as well.
Jungler was the most important role in the early game, and early game was the most important, so jungle ends up being one of the most important roles, along with mid lane. But it wasn't always just jungle versus jungle, but how the teams played with the jungle and kind of the early lane strengths of the early gaming laning strengths of some of the teams. Like, obviously, when we talk about some of the strongest looking junglers, we're going to talk about Ning and Clid. Ning and Clid have the best laners and have the best mid laners, so it is a lot easier for them to look good. Like for Xminty got a lot of crap, and I do agree, there were certain games where his pathing was absolute fucking garbage, but a lot of times, like,
and his champion pool early in the tournament, you know.
A lot of time, like Jensen and Double of Core JJ, these guys were dying before 3 minutes. Even before junglers can do anything, like they were literally dying or losing lanes so hard where jungle couldn't affect the game at all.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that... Because what made it so noticeable to me is when IG and G2 are winning, well, it's hard to see that it's just because of the jungle, because they're all making these crazy plays all over the map. Like I said, the top lane's just roaming all the time, mid lane's all over the map. They're just creating like 3-man dives. But where you really noticed how jungle was like the essential role in this group stage is with the 2 teams that had had the problems adapting, Team Liquid and SK Telecom. Because Clid popping off on those last 2 days was a massive part of SK Telecom being good. And then especially, obviously, Smithy, as you said, started the tournament looking like a player who was like years out of date, literally, for the current meta. By the end of the group stage, he looked like fucking season 3 Smithy or something. He was like super aggro. He was playing all the champions you're supposed to. Like, actually, you're in the meta, not stupid ass Hecarim and stupid shit like that. So, like, the transformation in him by the end of the tournament was massive. And I noticed both of those players, you can tell over the tournament, the coaches obviously are watching all the games, not just even your own games. Because one of the things that both Team Liquid and SKT were way better on in the last few days was just gank both the solo lanes. Just gank the solo lanes all day long against IG and G2, and you have a shot at least. That is clearly the most effective approach.
There's something that Jat said on the dive that I thought was really good regarding Team Liquid and them being able to turn things around. So
was he just back for this one episode?
Yeah, he was just back for this one episode.
Fair enough.
The fucker, like, I message him pretty often, or I message Caitlyn, the kind of the middleman or the middle woman between like the Riot casters and the people that want to do content, and Caitlyn always is like, yeah, Jeff's really busy, he's not going to be able to do content for a while, he has to work on all this balancing stuff, and then of course he did the
he was just sad that TSM lost the LCS finals.
Now he's finally recovered and he can do content again.
Exactly.
So anyways,
what did he say? What was his point?
Jat said teams in the past, especially NA teams, they come to the tournament with their own play style, which is often not matching the global meta or what's the best meta or the best way to play. And once they realize that they can't play their own style, they crumble because they have no other style and no depth. The thing that was different about this Team Liquid is they came into MSI with their meta, which was bot lane oriented, late game team fighting. I'll wait for the siren to pass.
Alright.
Okay. And bot lane oriented late game team fighting, and that shit wasn't working. Doublelift wasn't getting ahead in lane. Doublelift was losing. Doublelift and Core JJ were losing a lot of the straight up 2v2s, and they couldn't play their bot lane oriented late game team style anymore. And they swapped over to being more mid focused, to being more early game focused, and it actually worked for them, and they were able to play that style. I think until day 5, Team Liquid was still the Ole Pobelter Team Liquid. They played exactly like they would when they had Ole and Pobelter. And to be honest, like Jensen and Core JJ weren't really shining. Like the kind of level of play they were giving were similar to Ole and Pobelter. But on the last day, I think it really showed how much of an upgrade Jensen was and how solid Jensen was, because you could lean into Jensen and he became a win condition for them in the G2 game where he was absolutely destroying caps. So yeah, I think that was a really good call out from Jet. The fact that Team Liquid, one thing that was really different from the other NA teams was they had depth beyond their original style.
And once those other players in Team Liquid were actually able to do something in the game and not just be behind and hoping to stay alive, all of a sudden Impact actually had some impact in the game. Yeah, he was relevant at that point. Because actually I saw Reaper like try to big up Impact the whole tournament, and as usual, people always do this in analysis, and it fucking tilts me so hard. So what they do is they do this. They take a player that they think does something subtle. It has a lot of nuance, but it's not like obvious that they're doing a great job. So top laner who's not a carry top laner could be a great example of that. They take a player like that, and because people don't see any flash from the player, they don't think he's a top player, right? When their player plays badly, people tend to say they're trash, he can't match up, he's not good enough. Now, when I actually watched this tournament, I do think Impact was actually much better than I expected. But slow your fucking roll down, Reaper. This is like your game 3 draft in the fucking semi-finals, mate. Slow your roll down. Slow your roll down. Because the idea that like Impact is the most important player on Team Liquid and the best player on Team is a fucking ludicrous not. Like, no, he isn't. He just played above expectations. He found a couple of picks that worked for him. And then when the whole team was online, then he looked good. Like, he definitely wasn't come on, man, this is a tournament of top laners. He wasn't even close to the best top laner. Wasn't even close.
Oh my god. So I actually saw that clip for the first time when it came out, and I commented and I said, Reaper's covering for his friend. I don't think Impact is going to be that great for MSI.
That's what I wondered about. I literally, when I saw that, wondered, like, are they personal friends in real life or something?
Yeah, they are really good friends for real life.
Okay.
So I thought I disagreed with it completely. I'll admit where I was wrong. Impact was the rock. I thought he would get kind of...
He played a lot better at tournament, than everyone said, sure.
I thought he would get destroyed by the Cheyenne Wonder, but he was a rock and he was solid. But the core criticism for Impact is he can't carry in a carry meta. He can't be the primary carry in this carry meta where top laners can be so strong. TL has not played a single game of Irelia. They have
he
not...
never needed to. Look at the games they had that were good, mate. His games that were good was playing Kennen and Vlad, right? So he was good in the team fights. He did his job. He definitely didn't fucking carry any lanes, did he? Come on.
His best 2 carries, I would argue, are Kennen and Gangplank, and these are not carries you put resource into. These are carries you kind of just let be, and these champions will kind of grow by themselves and be a decent threat in team fights, and that's who Impact is. he's not someone you shovel a lot of resource into. You expect to play these like hyper mobile, hyper skill matchup carries like Irelia, Akali. I know he's played Akali before. His Akali hasn't looked the greatest. Ryze and Jace. I know he's played these champions before, but these are not his, I would say, forte or his expertise, and he isn't that player. He's a solid, very solid player. He's a rock for TL, but he cannot be the primary carry or even one of the bigger carries, and that's kind of the criticism that people had for Impact, which I still do think holds true.
Didn't I tell you, Loco? I know, listen, I'm not going to take like mad credit for a prediction because the particular prediction I made wasn't specific. Like, all I told you was this. I told you, for some reason, Team Liquid would get it together and they would get one upset win. Now, I won't claim, like I said, to be psychic, because obviously didn't even pick which of the teams. Like, could have been any of the three, but they got it against G2. I think G2 logically was one of the ones that they had a decent chance against. But this win that they had, dude, I said it on Twitter just before this show went live. This is where you find out who's full of shit in the community, who's a big figure. Because everyone was loving the game of let's make fun of Team Liquid before this tournament. We're like, haha, Team Liquid, they're not even the best in NA. They shouldn't even be. I wish TSM was there. Then they get to the tournament, everyone's laughing at them. Haha, these guys can't do anything. Impact, he's just going to get fucking smashed. Double Lift, never been out of groups. They're fucking trash. Team Liquid, overrated, blah, blah, blah. Then after the first couple of days, G2 styling or everyone, IG's impossibly dominant. Everyone's laughing at Team Liquid and a little bit at SKT. Dude, almost no one even acknowledged that Team Liquid fucking stomped G2. They stomped them in that second game. That was like a flawless game from Team Liquid. G2 couldn't do anything against them.
Yeah, I mean, that is the nature of the game right now. If you play fast enough, once you get ahead, you'll stomp. The problem,
give credit because G2's the kind of team that could have come back against other squads. They did when they could skirmish people.
Well, where I think TL deserves a lot of credit is they were able to get leads before day 5, but they weren't able to snowball. They did not know how to put the pedal to the metal and actually speed up the game, snowball the game, accelerate it properly, and they were able to do that versus G2. That's something that they changed within their macro and their playstyle. That is something I want to commend TL for. So a lot of people are saying like G2 just kind of trolled the last day and like it was an off day for them and you shouldn't really count it against them just due to how atrocious
on the basis they were locked into playoffs and all that sort of crap. And
they lost to Fungbu Buffalo and TL. Like, how much truth do you think there is in that? Like, how do you look at G2 now?
The problem with that, right, is I would get, right, if you know what, if someone told me, so for example, people did claim this with SK Telecom Local. People tried to claim, see, what they were doing was, you know, it's like, you know, the old classic move. When Koreans are actually dominant, the old logic for why they ever lose or have a close game early is like, oh, they're kind of like, you know, testing the meta, seeing what the other teams have. They know they're going to be in the playoffs anyway. So they want it, you know, the famous old school Korean move where if game 1, you let all the other team have all their picks. And like famously at the All-Stars 2014 when they played OMG, you let them have all their picks. When they then like come close to winning but don't, you're like, right, well, I've seen everything they can do there. Now I'll ban them out. And then I just shut them out and roll over them. Like, people made out like that's what SK Telecom was doing. The problem is that works if you are a dominant team, because the idea is you've already seen that team be really consistently good and maybe win tournaments. And therefore, when they have sort of like a game where it looks like they're not trying that much, you can go, maybe they're just fucking around. Did I miss something? Did G2 win Worlds or something? Like, why would we be giving G2 that wiggle room? No. Like, put it this way, if you want to say that, oh, okay, cool. Well, in that case, all of G2's big wins, that was just the other team just fucking up. No, that doesn't. Like, if you look at the way G2 played, even in some of their wins, it's on the knife edge. You know, they push the fucking limits. Like, they could have won one of the games against PvP. They could have lost both as they did. They could have lost games against other teams that they won. So I think actually one thing I will say is one area I could buy that they maybe didn't try to win every game is it did look towards the end of the group like G2 was trying to run normal comps as though they were prepping for the playoffs. That could in some way lead to losing. But I'll just say this now and think about what I'm saying. If you lose with normal comps in the meta, you by definition aren't like the absolute best team, super dominant, because being able to do all these crazy picks only makes you the best if you also play the meta. It's doing both that makes you the best. Like, IG doesn't, like, first of all, because their styles are vaguely similar, people have gone too far in the comparison between G2 and IG. Like, the picks that G2 and IG do aren't really that similar. Like, IG doesn't do all those really weird, creative, like three different picks that are all going to interact and like do those. No, they just pick things they think are strong laying off them, and then they play in an aggressive style, mainly due to Ning, actually, I think, personally. But so you look at the G2 guys, I think this is just the bottom end. Like, if they have a ceiling, which is fucking really high, might be one of the highest of any Western team ever, they also have a basement that's lower than some of the best teams we've had in the past. Like, they can look bad in games, as you saw against PvB, as you saw in the fucking Team Liquid game. They can also just look bad sometimes.
Well, one thing I do want to say about it is G2 has looked good playing Standard when they played versus SKT, but they've also looked atrocious playing Standard when they play versus the last game versus TL. And I think a lot of that comes from Caps. Caps is actually the one player where I look at and his highs and his floor are one of the biggest. And it didn't seem that way in LEC, but I think it was kind of due to LEC competition around mid lane not being as tough. The only real competition he had, I would say, is Nukeduck. Other than Nukeduck, there was no one really truly challenging him or giving him problems. So I'm not sure where I place Caps now. Some of the other G2 losses, it's very easy for me to look over. Like some Fungbu Buffalo ones, some of the picks were just atrocious and they didn't know what they were doing with it. Like the Camille pick and also the loss versus IG initially where they picked Vayne Akali matchup. Like that one was fucking terrible. But one constant and one thing I really have to look at with a magnifying glass is Caps isn't that consistent when he's not playing versus LEC mid laners. And on a world stage, Caps is someone you're going to have to kind of question, and especially he's going to be playing versus Faker.
If you add these two tournaments together, last Worlds and this MSI, he has been a bit underwhelming. Like, he's had a couple of games he popped off and looked sick. Obviously, that game he had on Rise against IG was fucking bonkers, some of the moves. But I agree. Overall, actually a bit underwhelming for how good his team is.
So now you're placing him against Faker, probably the best performing mid laner of this tournament. So there's a huge
especially by the end,
mark.
mate. He was a fucking monster by the end, Faker. Like that LeBlanc game he had was meant, and then obviously that Azir game towards the end was really sick as well. Yeah, he leveled up as the tournament went on, mate.
So let's save that one for a little bit later, the SKT IG, when we talk, or SKT G2 and TL IG. Let's talk a little bit more about the
matchups. Let's keep talking about the teams and then we'll go to the matchups.
So talking a little bit about IG, we
haven't finished up with the G2 yet. We only just started talking about them. So, right, one thing I do want to say is one player on G2 absolutely needs to be criticised for this tournament. And I don't care that, obviously, if they had have beaten PvB like they were supposed to, they would obviously have had the second best record and they would have been a really sick team. The player who has played the worst on G2 is fucking Perks. This guy, like, it's no wonder he plays fucking Nico and stuff like that. When he's on a normal AD carry, he was doing nothing in lane in these games. Like, half the time when he gets into, like, when the jungler comes to fight in Perks' lane in this tournament, he doesn't even look like he remembers he's an AD carry. He's like fucking melee range trying to like burst them down. It's like, you don't have any burst, dude. You're a fucking AD carry.
Perks is so playmaking heavy and Perks is so aggressive. Earlier in the tournament, I do want to correct you. I do think he looked great on these standard AD carries like Xayah, Kai'Sa. He played well on them, but from earlier in the tournament to later in the tournament, it is fucking like day and night. I don't know what the fuck happened, but he seemed overly aggressive and he seemed like he's constantly trying to make the first play. A lot of time as AD carry right now, what you want to be is you want to be a consistent rock for your team, something your team can depend on, like a safety switch when things go wrong, and a consistent form of damage in team fights and anywhere else where that might be applicable. But right now, Perks is way too forward up and way too much looking for things. I don't know what changed in his mindset or like what really changed with G2, but Perks looks really fucking different from the start of the tournament to now.
Because think about it, right? When they were winning here's the interesting detail. Because the game slowed a little bit down because all the teams that were the late game teams started playing early themselves, therefore these teams that were smashing everyone weren't getting all the leads immediately. The game's kind of slowed down a bit and you got like a little bit less action, some lower amounts of kills, time for the game to breathe because the underdog team or the slower team was on the front foot, right? So what you actually saw from G2 and IG when the game slowed down is, right, time to see, I forgot there was AD carries in this game. Let's have a look who the AD carries are. Well, Perks in team fights. I mean, he never had to team fight in the other fucking games. They were winning off stupid Pyke top lane picks and people just diving all over, killing everyone. Right? When you consider what a strong duo fucking Rakan Xayah is, tell you what, Mickey X is amazing on fucking the Rakan. Perks is average as fuck on Xayah. He's not doing anything. Where's he winning these teams? Meanwhile, look on the IG side, right? I personally think I made this point before the tournament began. I personally think Jackie Love is an overrated player, and I still think it based on this tournament. But I tell you what's great about Jackie Love is, if there is a game, that's why I called him like the insurance policy. If there is a game where the Shy and Rookie don't carry, and where the skirmish style doesn't work, and where Ning isn't ahead and pressuring every lane and smashing the enemy jungler, and then they get to like real fights, that's where Jackie Love actually will go, all right, is it my turn now? Yeah, right, I'll take over the game then. And he can pop off. The difference was, I didn't see that from Perks. Like, that's why my analogy for Jackie Love is, I know it sounds harsh, but it's true. He's like, remember the old school Fnatic with Expeke and Soaz and Yellow Stars as support, and then they brought in Reckless as the AD carry, right? In that team, that was considered at the time like a super team for EU. And people used to rave about them, right? Well, what always used to tilt me about that team was, that was when people already were like mad overrating Reckless. He used to win the MVP. He was on a team with Soaz and Expeke and the best shot caller in Europe, and he used to win the MVP. And if you ever watched him play those fights, this is where they're comparable, because the difference between Jackie Love in this team and Reckless in that team is they both play the same role. Obviously, if you have a team with 6 solo laners that's famous for getting picks, you're not even going to be necessary half the time. Your job is don't die, play out lane properly, and don't need ganks 24/7. So you do that, right? Here's where they differ. Reckless used to play like a massive fucking pussy. I saw that guy play games. I should go do ROD reviews. They'd be the most popular shit. I wouldn't know anything about the draft and that, but I'd show you some shit that people won't call out. Like, he used to do team fights where he wasn't just on like the absolute limit of where he can auto attack. He'd just stand outside and then let the rest of them be fighting, and then like walk back in and opportunistically just like last hit a guy and get the kill. Like, that really happened. Well, the difference is Jackie Love, when he gets to a fight, plays like an actual fucking boss. Like, he goes off there. But the difference is, I challenge anyone saying that fucking Jackie Love is some super sick player. Go watch the fights where he had the big amount of kills in this tournament, right? Go watch the team fights that are anywhere in the last 10 to 15 minutes of the game. He's just doing exactly what Reckless used to do. He's walking around fights with no one attacking him. Everyone's going balls deep on the Shy. Oh shit, the Shy's engaged on us. Kill him, everyone get him. Oh my god, Rookie's out there, get Rookie. You know, like, Loco, you were an AD carry as a professional player, right? Don't you think, this is the reason I've never been able to fuck with Reckless until he became like the solo carrier of Fnatic a couple of years ago. The reason I could never fuck with him versus a Forgiven, or even actually players like Freeze, goes like this. If you're a professional AD carry, and you're like Freeze, Double Lift, fucking Forgiven, when you're in a team fight, you have to not only do damage, but be so careful, because everyone's coming for you. They know if they kill you, the fight is over. Dude, these players, if you're third in line to get killed as an AD carry who's got like a Kai'Sa late game, that's the dream. Who the fuck wouldn't want to play like that as a pro? That is my dream if I have an AD carry, right? Who wouldn't want that?
I will agree with you where Jackie Love's job in teamfight is much easier than other players, just due to the nature of having the Shy and Rookie on his team. And also,
and like you said, remember the thing you said about the meta? It's accurate. Since those players, they're picking stuff where you just cycle through all your abilities. Well, you have to keep focusing those players down. They just do non-stop havoc in the fight, right? You can't really, it's not like the old days where you just focus the ADC.
Where he's like not even comparable to Reckless is his laning. Like, Jackie Love is someone that builds his own lead so many of the time, and his 3v3 along with Ning and Bao Lan is so fucking good.
Oh, he's very legit in that sense. Yes, I would agree. Here's the thing. They are one of the only true triple threat teams I've ever seen. I mean, SKT actually, funnily enough, actually can be that themselves. But I agree. In terms of what he does in his lane, Jackie Love does a really good job. My point is, he does win like more than half the games, not even have to fucking do anything, basically. He's like me when I play in like Iron 7 or something, and it's like, oh, well, we haven't even finished laning phase, but our top lane is 4 kills up. Sound. You just don't die. That's all our job is, don't die.
And sometimes that's the nature of AD carries. Like, don't die and do your job and not be flashy.
Sure.
Before we move out of G2, what else do we want to talk about?
Oh, let's talk a bit more about IG then. So we were moving on IGs. I'll tell you another thing about IG, in this tournament particularly, right? Because of that first couple of games that they played where the Shy was popping off, he had that great Akali game, he looked so sick. And obviously coming into the tournament, the guy's like a contender for best player in the world. That's actually what's so sick about IG. You've got Rookie and the Shy. But I'll tell you what, he fucking cooled off like a motherfucker in this group stage, didn't he? So, the Shy, like half the games, he didn't even do anything.
Do you think it's fair for people to talk about IG as in like they don't care? Because that's what people are saying. And The caveat is,
9 games, pretty good.
the caveat is you should never analyze based on what you haven't seen and what you think about. You should analyze based on what you see. But just due to how IG's behaved in interviews and due to how the stark nature of IG, where there is a happy IG and then there is like a focused IG. Like sometimes they turn it on and then a lot of times they're just like chilling, especially when they play Flash Wolf or Fengbu Buffalo and TL early in the groups. Do you think it's fair for people to be like, oh, they just don't care right now and that's why their performance looks shaky?
No, because here's the problem. What was the one game they lost in this group stage?
SKT.
Right. I don't care if you've won 9 games and you know that you're the number 1 seed. If you're telling me that Rookie and IG don't want to beat SKT teams, of course they do. We're not talking about like SKT used to be the best in the past. Like Korea was the best. Like to go back to when a Chinese team was number 1 in the world, you have to go back to pre-season 3. You have to go back to 2012. That we're talking literally like over half a decade, these Chinese guys have been under the fucking Korean thumb, unable to fight back. Never mind if they wanted to win the game or fucking style. So the idea that they get to this position, they're in like the boss position, they have a chance to 10-0 the group stage and beat their main rival just before the play. There's no way you take that game off. I could believe you fuck around in like a game against the Flash Wolves or something, or against PvP, maybe. There's no way you fuck around against SK Telecom. Come on. How many chances in your life are you going to get to beat Faker? You don't fuck around when you get that chance. I don't buy that angle. I could believe in some of the other games they took it a little bit lighter, but even then, if you're a champion mindset, you still do try in the game. It's just in that scenario, you can't keep 100% focus. But I definitely think on that last game, that was a legit win by SKT in my opinion.
The win was legit. It's just people are saying expect more from IG and not.
I do.
It is
like I said. I actually think if you look how quiet the Shy was, I think they could be actually even stronger in the playoffs.
It's so weird to talk about it because they 9-1 the group stage and we're like, no, they
still didn't look like they were at full peak though, did they? I agree. Like day 1 they did. After that, they actually kind of cruised. They're
such a ridiculous team. Yeah, the fact that we're talking about it like that, like maybe we should expect more from them, but they did 9-1, but that one game was kind of bad. Like. Crazy team. Also, they definitely did style on some of the teams. Like them playing Ivern and Kane, this is like full disrespect. This is like, we don't think you're fucking good enough for us to play real champions and us to take you seriously. We're going to play Kane, we're going to play Ivern, and we're going to fuck around with you a little bit. I haven't seen teams do that on a world stage. That was
justified in that game, though. That was justified.
It was justified, but I haven't seen teams be that cocky and that good enough on international stage where they can go completely off meta and go on to some of these fun teams. There was that one time
this team was just a little known team. It's called Samsung White, and they basically just said, every draft, I'm just going to put my dick in your face, and then you see what you can do about it. And you were like, and you couldn't get them ever. And you got the one time when they level 1 face checked, and that's what it took for you to win the game. And then second game, you thought like, oh, it was close. It's like, if your boy actually knew how to shot call in mid lane, maybe you could have won that one.
Maybe. Oh my God.
That'd have been high. That'd have been a 1 game, mate. Then again, if that'd have been high, he'd had his fucking head smashed in lane. So I guess there's no point in that debate, is there? Right? We'll put that to one side.
We have Amazing back in NA. We'll definitely bring that up one day.
That is interesting. Yeah, we'll save that one though. Like, let's save that for a proper episode. Certainly interesting though. Let me think. Who didn't we talk about very much then? We did Team Liquid, SKT, IG, yeah, we've done them.
We didn't talk that much about SKT, so I kind of want to talk about the level up from SKT. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
I think I called it so correctly. My swing point was a little bad. I knew SKT would be going into MSI thinking late game team fight comp based around bot lane is the way to play. Very similar to how TL approached it, and they would get blown out of the water. And I even called that they would be picking Azir and it would be fucking god awful for them. Oh my god. Dude, I hated fucking watching them play Azir, especially versus IG and G2. Whenever Faker would play Azir, he would get leads in lane and it wouldn't amount to anything. You get the lead and you just fucking stay in the lane. It does absolutely fucking nothing. What's up?
That's another angle, mate. Because that was another part where your boy Reaper came in. Reaper had a translated section for when him and I think some Korean person were talking about for the game. The first few days though.
Yeah, Pitori,
and he was raving about Faker. He was going like, these games on fucking Azir are incredible. Like, fans won't know what he's doing, but it's amazing the leads he's getting. And like, it's like, I don't know what game we're watching, mate. Like, you're talking to me, by the way. Think of the players I'm a fan of. Flame, Froggen, Forgiven. These people, like, laning is like half of what they do. That's their specialties. Like, always get ahead in lane. Like, all Faker did was lane in those first few days. At the end, I agree, got sick on the last few days. But, like, where is Reaper coming from? He must have... He made the classic mistake, didn't he? The Kool-Aid that he makes every morning for everyone else in Cloud9 and a big cup for Jack. Nice big cup, you know, with his little special sauce in from Korea, you know. The shit that the wives put in to make the husband stay loyal. He puts that shit in, stirs it all up, a little bit of sugar. When he fed all them, he made the mistake of drinking it himself, so then he got brainwashed. Oh, you fool. Because if in any universe you think Impact was like the fucking most important player on Team Liquid and Faker was playing amazing on those first few days, give me the VOD. Listen, I can't do this because I admit I don't know enough about the game. But Reaper, you do VOD reviews, mate. Just show me a VOD review of like the first 2 days, pick the Nurses game, and just show us what the subtleties are. We'd love to know. I'd love to be proven wrong, by the way. I love it when people actually can like break down what they think. I just think, again, he was trying to be a little bit contrarian. Like, my problem here, Loco, is everyone Korean looks exposed as fuck at this tournament by how badly you guys are standing for fucking SKT. If this was SKT on the last 2 days, I'd be saying, yes, you're right, they are very good. But the excuses that were made for them on the first 3 days were a fucking joke, mate. Like, this is what people have never seen before because Korea's never been in this position. Like, in the past, they were just the best. I always say this about fans. You never know who the really bad fans are till their team loses. Because anyone, when their team's winning, it just happened in CSGO. So in CSGO last year, Astralis might have had the most dominant year ever in Counter-Strike. So if you'd have asked me which fans are douches, I'd have never said Astralis, because whatever they were saying, even accidentally, would be right. So an idiot who said, like, Astralis is the best, it's like, he's right. Now, I don't know that he's an idiot and that he means it just because he's their fan, but because he's right, I think, oh, he seems reasonable. It's only when they drop off. When they drop off and the same idiot goes, they're still the best, you go, holy shit, this guy's a moron. Oh my God, we smoked him out. Get him out, kill him, remove him from the gene club. Just kidding there. Timestamp that part. Right, no. So the point, you get the point I'm making though, like, man alive, like, was Reaper secretly fucking, has he still got that SK Telecom connection or something? Is he getting a little retainer like, right, you didn't make it with Cloud9, so your job is PR, since you're the one who knows the English the best out of everyone who's involved with the org. Like, we're going to need you to stan and chill. Do you know these words, Reaper? Stan and chill? It's like, yeah, I do it all the time for my team. I mean, yes, I think I could give it a go. It's like, yeah, I bet you fucking could. So, what fucking Kool-Aid's he drinking? Come on. Come on, Reaper, come on.
I read the same post. Things I'll agree with Reaper on. Faker's Azir is fucking amazing, but you're being amazing at Azir.
It's sick, yeah.
Being Azir,
yeah, like his Shurima Shuffle is one of the best I've ever seen. Put out with. He's very good at that.
But being amazing at Azir means like staying in lane and getting turret plating and scaling better than the other person, and that's just not what the meta is about. And their whole point about keep playing Azir, just make sure you build Ludens and make sure you change up your mastery. I'm like, wait a second, you want to build Azir to make sure he can have early game damage and he can have burst? Play other fucking champions, like play.
Really makes sense, right?
Play LeBlanc in those roles. Yeah,
obvious ones, right? Yeah.
LeBlanc, Ryze is such a contested pick. They should pick Ryze whenever they can. But like when all those contested picks are gone, like Faker's still amazing on champions like LeBlanc, champions like Syndra that can have early game priority, that can roam, that can dominate lane. Like, I don't understand this weird ass obsession for Azir. I called it before the tournament. SKT would pick Azir and drop games, and it's exactly what they happened. I really don't want to fucking see them play Azir in the G2 matchup. That would drive me fucking nuts.
Sure. I tell you what as well, one thing that about this meta that has made it really interesting is, even though a whole bunch of these champions were around, you know, a year ago, 2 years ago, it's the combinations they're used in. Like the amount of sick realm warps, fucking Tahm Kench ultimates, like the playmaking of some of these teams is fucking mental. It's really insane to watch the catches and the re-engages they do. It's nuts.
Well, that is also a part of the meta where I feel like SKT and TL didn't really catch on to, where G2 and IG, they love running teleport on both their AD and support, with support along with Unseal Spellbook, so he can switch out the summoners. But they love being mobile around the map. They love being able to affect the map with TPs. And yeah, it is a huge part of the meta right now, how good you are at grouping up like suddenly and how good you are around the quick movements on the map.
Well, it's a bit like, I said one of the things I think was an edge for G2 was some of their comps. I actually don't think some of those wacky comps they picked were like ones that are reliable. I don't think you could run that if the team knew you were going to run it and they played against it. But I told you, one factor that I think makes it work is because they do multiple weird picks. They'll do like 3 unusual picks or like weird lane assignments that as a result, you not only don't know how to play against all 3 at the same time, but especially not in combination. Like when multiple interactions you've never seen before happen, if you combine that with having teleport on your support, well, you're taking a fight in your brain going, right, how many people are here? 2 and 2, and if we get that one, that guy comes in anytime he wants to. So really, you have to fight as though that's 2v3. Well, it's so hard to make yourself do that if your team doesn't play like that. And your opponents don't play like that. Like, it's not like Griffin was going to do that.
The rules are very different.
Makes sense, yeah. So I don't blame the teams, because you saw the same thing actually. Team Liquid also got caught out by that a whole bunch of times. Kept thinking like, oh, we can fight this, or maybe this is even a kill here. And then it'd be like, when you saw the teleport coming, you were like, oh, there's never a kill there. What the fuck? How? Because it's very rare if you think about it, at the top level, to see like top pros like miss. Kind of like not gauge correctly what the situation is. Normally, even if they die, they usually know where they're at in the fight,
What do you think about NA finally getting out of groups, and especially for TL? Do you think this is something celebratory? Like, this is something that NA should be happy about, like, and should be cheering for?
Well, let's be real. It's not really NA, because obviously NA's made MSI playoffs a bunch of times. It's really just double lift, right? Like, that's the real thing. Is double lift in every context has never made the out of the groups before. So even though, yes, I agree with people, his team was the 4th best team coming in the tournament, so logically they should make it out. He actually hasn't done anything special yet. To be fair, you could have said that about many of the teams he was on in the past, the TSM teams he was on, the CLG one that went to Worlds. A whole bunch of these teams should have made it out of groups and didn't, even though they should have come out 2nd or 1st or whatever. So when someone has never done something, yeah, you should give them some props when they actually can do it one time. But obviously it's not some sick run. Like, put it this way, top 4 at MSI, for obvious reasons, is nothing like top 4 at Worlds. Come on. Like, let's not get crazy. But since everyone hated on Doublelift, I at least like the idea he added another sort of like win over all the haters who were like, you'll never do it, you are trash. It's like, well, he did it, didn't he? So fuck shit now.
He's underperformed at every international event, and this event they performed. They didn't overperform, they didn't underperform, and they just performed. Like, they were better than Fongbu Buffaloes and Flash Wolves. Like, for all the things that Doublelift accomplished, especially the amount of trophies that he's been able to stack up in NA, it's so weird that this is being celebrated. I understand that he's never gotten out of groups in international, but he's a 6-time LCS champion. Like, why the fuck is like getting out of groups like that big of a deal for him? So
I agreed.
I think it's so ridiculous, like how much they kind of like praise TL for getting out of groups, where it's like, dude, like this is almost a bare minimum of what we expect out of our representative.
By the way, when we were talking earlier about Xmithy, that is the weirdest part. Like, I totally understand why it's possible SKT could make this turnaround. I wouldn't have predicted it because it's very hard to know like how you're going to coach your team to completely change their playing style. So props to whoever the head coach. Well, I know Coma's technically the head coach, but I think it's Zephyr, right, who does the draft in that.
Yeah, Zephyr's the draft.
So props to him for whatever he did, because he clearly did a very good job this tournament. But like, the miracle turnaround of this tournament was Xmithy. Because the weirdest thing is, players do this actually local. The problem with, I know one of the reasons why pro players and coaches hate fan and analyst narratives is because eventually those do get to players. Like, a lot of players initially just deny the narrative. I'm not allowed to play like that at all. But the point is, like, if eventually there's some grain of truth, or it's just a really accurate narrative, the problem is when a player then locks his mind in and he agrees, like, yeah, like, so Smithy's a great example. Yes, I'm just a jungler who has to get by on my brains, and like, I play like a farm style, and my team doesn't want early ganks anyway, and we're going to pick scaling anyway, and I'm just going to play safe. I'm going to try and find out where you are, put some vision down, and then counter gank maybe and play a smart game. Like, that's great, right? If you really are playing like Ning, because look at Ning's style. He's like fucking pressure the map everywhere, aggro champion, dive everything, lanes, right? That makes sense against him. Why was Xmithy doing all that to himself when he was in the LCS? Like, look at what he did here. This guy, like I said, when he was in Season 3 and he was in Vulcan, XD, was it called
XDG?
Vulcan? Yeah, it became XDG afterwards. When he was in Vulcan, This guy used to be an aggro jungler. This guy used to be a gank first guy. So, like, the idea he can't do that. He can, clearly. He's just, for whatever reason, in his own brain, he just decided that wasn't who he is. Because I feel like he should take, no matter what happens here, what he did at this tournament, and he should go back to NA, and he should become more of a, like, well-rounded jungler. Like, he could be an aggressive jungler for sure. You saw, as soon as you put him on the Jarvan, he immediately changed his whole playing style.
It's the thing we talked about before. You have double lift, and you have such an easy way to dominate NA. Play around the double lift.
You think they tell him to play through those picks?
Well, they tell him, and he also has a solution that's working, so he never has to branch off from that. When you have such an easy answer of, we're a double lift team and we can beat all the NA teams, you really don't need to go beyond that. And while all the little work that TL put in to go beyond just a double lift team really showed at this MSI, but I'm not sure how much of that they're going to retain and how much they go back to just being a double lift team when they get back to NA.
Let's see. Should we talk about the playoffs now?
Yeah, let's go to the playoffs.
Right. So first and foremost, one thing to say is I actually didn't know about this until we did the last episode, I think it was, that there's that weird rule that they made, which is kind of like what they have at LCS now, where when you reach the playoffs, they let the number one seed pick which of the teams they play. I mean, do you actually pick any of them, or do you just pick
3 and 4? You can only pick 3 and 4.
There you go. So you pick between 3 and 4. And so the real scandal obviously was, everyone thought, well, no problem, it's going to be like IG and G2 anyway. Well, because G2 dropped below SK Telecom by the end, which I still feel like people haven't fully acknowledged, for all that shit talking on SKT and all that praise of G2, they finished below them at the end of the fucking group. That's pretty ridiculous. Like, this is the problem with these tournaments, is one of the big problems in esports is really memorable moments, like, obsess your mind. You can't stop thinking about how
prisoner of the moment.
And so, you know, it's hard to think of the games where not much happened or they played a standard boring game. Those don't stay in your memory as much. So it still feels like G2 did great, but actually by the end, they had some amazing games and some super underwhelming ones. So at the end, the real question was this. Wow, will IG have the balls to pick SK Telecom, or will they even pick G2 rather? Would they pick G2 and say, fuck you, like, we'll beat you in the semis? You know, because obviously people thought that would be the final, right? Obviously they picked Team Liquid. And this harkens back to what happened in LCS, right? Where Steve Arnett did the joke, like, we're picking TSM. And it's like, obviously they didn't. They picked Echo Fox, so it's an easy win. Like, that whole angle was so overblown. Like, I don't think there's any world in which IG actually was going to pick G2 there. Not least because I don't think the players even get to say that. I think the coach just says, don't be stupid. Of course we're picking the only one of the playoff teams that doesn't look like they have a chance to beat us in a series. Like, I don't care, even if, in fact, I can't remember who made this point, but it was a great point, is even if you think you can beat G2, you actually benefit from playing them in the final rather than the semi-final, because you get to see potentially 5 games of them against SK Telecom. So why not see all the extra picks they've saved? They're not going to hide any after the semis. Why not see how they play a proper series? Why not see how they adapt and then play them in the final? I think that increases your chances of beating them.
I mean, for sure. I think a team like SKT is a team that will get better as the tournament goes on. If there's ever an argument for picking a stronger opponent early so they don't beat you in the final, I think it'll be towards SKT. G2 is a team about creative picks and about being different and being unique. That is a core part of their strength. So let them show those picks versus SKT.
Like, I put it this way, you're right. If SKT had been the option and it was Team Liquid or SKT, there would be a logic, as you say there, to maybe pick SKT then, because first of all, they'd have had to have done even worse to be in third. And obviously IG, in this world, I'm assuming, beat them twice. Yeah, maybe then you do play them earlier so they don't get a chance to level up. That sort of makes sense, but as we say, they didn't have a choice to pick them anyway. So, right, let's start with the quickest one then. IG Team Liquid. The first question is this. Does Team Liquid win even a game?
I think they can take a game, but I still don't even think that's likely. I think this is a very, very easy 3-0. I think IG will not fuck around. IG will fucking play serious, and TL has very, very little things they do better than IG. I think I can list like 1 or 2 things they can do better than IG. It is just, you're reaching for straws if you're trying to think of ways where TL can beat IG.
Yeah, the problem I have is I don't even think they're going to win a game here. Like, if you look at the way that they got their wins, like, listen, I'll give Vic Smithy some credit. Yeah, he went head to head with Yankos. Yeah, he did actually well towards the end. He's not going to do anything against Ning. Like, I will say one thing about IG by the end. Again, this is why it's so weird that they won 9 games, because any of the games where Ning didn't go off early in the game, mate, those solo laners start to look still very good players, but they're not like these, oh my God, what do I possibly do against this guy? Oh, he's going to take all the... It's like, that doesn't happen if the jungle doesn't go off. Like, it's just a normal game at that point. They stay in their lanes. They play like normal humans. Like, they don't get like absurdly cocky. Like, think about, that's the addendum to when we were discussing before the tournament, like how cocky the Shy and IG are. It makes sense to be cocky when your jungler is taking over the game and he's on an aggro jungler and he wants to go and invade and die. That's when it makes sense to go with him. That's when he could just snowball the whole game and crush him flat. Like, that makes sense. Like, IG's not as reckless as people make it. I actually think G2's a more reckless team than IG overall. Like, G2's the team where I actually, on the one hand, love this, but I also sort of hate it, which is they remind me of back when I used to really follow Quake heavily. So it's a 1v1 game, very high skill level. And the interesting thing about Quake is it has a macro component in it, because not only are you doing the micro fighting each other with precision,
you're keeping cooldowns,
but also, yeah, you're trying to like track the armors, and you have to know what your opponent's health is. And you have to gauge very well the state of the map, basically. And one of the things about Quake is it's a bit like old school League of Legends a few years ago, where it's like the slower macro game. Like, I make my move, I'm a bit ahead, so you know you're behind, so you play a bit safer. You try to like gradually grind out, make the gap smaller and smaller and smaller, and then you hope that you can set up a situation that I think is like a 60-40 for me, but really it's a 50-50, and you can get back in the game, and that's how you do it normally, right? That's what you do in Quake. If you're the guy behind, your job is, until you get into a good position, just run away. Don't let him kill you. Steal an armor here, steal a gun there. The difference between like G2 and that style of play, which a lot of League of Legends macro-wise used to do, like you just reply with the other turret or you gank the other lane. The difference with G2 is they're always looking for the re-engage, right? They're always looking for the replay, the chance to get the kill back. That reminds me in Quake, right? There was a couple of players who were legendary players. One was called Cooler from Russia. He's one of my favorite players, and this is why he was one of my favorite players. Because if he ever got out of control and he started to like be put in a position that could be bad, what he would do is he would look for the immediate re-engage onto the guy. Like, he would try off the spawn sometimes to get the guy if the guy had like low health, or he would like get the first gun he had and try and trap the person. And the key thing he's relying on in that scenario is, because most people don't do that and they don't even see the game that way, that when you get a kill on him, you think, right, well, I have a little bit of breathing room now, I can fight. So it's the same thing. A number of these teams that haven't played against it, they look fucking shook when G2 comes back in on some of these. But you see when they play like the IGs of the world, etc., who couldn't handle it, it's also a mad risky style. It's fucking insanely. That's how they lost to PvB.
IG has the same thing, where if one of their members start dying, then they'll also teleport on top of it, and they'll make sure no one just dies for free. Kobe said it best in the Die podcast, where he said IG suffers from sunk cost fallacy, where if a fight gets started and one person starts dying, they never just let it go and they keep fighting over and over again. It's what makes them really explosive and what makes them really dangerous, but it also is one of the ways they can falter, where they can rope themselves into terrible fights and just have a fight where they should have lost one member, they actually end up losing 4 or even all 5 members.
Basically the definition of like double-edged sword, like, because the problem, and it's like, that's the reason I gave you that analogy when we did that pre-MSI episode, that to me, like, IG, they are cocky in a way, but justified, and it's more like that's both their strength and their weakness, like the Samson White example I gave you, because like the whole point is you don't want to tell them not to do that. Same with G2. If you tell G2 not to do any of that stuff, well, then they lose all the fucking amazing strength to get these crazy picks and do all these players that wouldn't be there. Oh, there's one thing. I guess we'll wait until the next series to talk about, though. I'll save that one, actually. Like, on this series, though, the IG versus TL one, the other reason why TL is in a world of hurt in this one is literally the first condition to have a chance to win would somehow be Xmithy getting the jungle edge, which just, I don't think that's going to happen. But even worse, let's say you get to the late game. We've just literally talked about, half an hour ago, about how Jackie Love is absolutely a very good AD carry, and because he's literally not even like the main player on the team, he just chills. It's like, if he's needed, he'll come in. Well, how are you going to scale against that team? Like, unless you literally, and this tournament has not been about ganking the bot lane all the time. It's been mainly about like gank the top laner, if anything, gank the mid laner really early in the game at like level 2 or something. Because it's been about that, how are you going to keep Jackie Love down? So even if you make it to the late game, which TL want to do, and I think they should be careful what they wish for. I don't think they really want to see that late game.
Both SKT and TL's wins in the final day came from their mid laner dominating the other mid laner, Faker dominating Rookie, Jensen dominating Caps. I think Jensen is going to have a pretty good matchup into Rookie, but there's no way he puts on the same kind of performance he did versus Caps that he does versus Rookie. And there's no fucking way in hell he does it for 3 games. So,
by the way, isn't that kind of crazy as well? That, to be fair, again, for a team that won 9 out of 10 games, I also feel like Rookie was a bit quiet in some of these games. Like, he didn't really seem like he was like the best mid by far, and he wasn't. They were just a good team.
Jackie Love and Ning were their 2 most shiny pieces, where it's usually Rookie and the Shy, but
yes,
all around this team is fucking good. So
that's why I say it. To me, even though it sounds mad for a team that almost won 10 games in a row, I actually think they can be better in the playoffs. I think they're going to be even better when they play Team Liquid, and I think when they get to the final, I don't care who they play, thanks to the other matchup, but I think it could be an amazing final.
I think if you get IG in the final, either matchup is going to be great, SKT or G2. But hoping for that.
Especially because logically, whoever wins, you'd hope is primed to be able to do it. Like, if SKT can beat G2, now there's a reason they could play IG straight up. So let's do the other matchup then, IG. SKT.
Well, you don't wait. A little bit on the TL versus IG one.
Go on then.
One thing that TL has going for them is Impact has shown that he won't get blown out versus the Shy. So that is like a part where TL can hold on to. Like, Impact will be a rock, like he won't get blown away. But then you're expecting the other 2 lanes to carry. And when you go and look at the other 2 lanes...
Wait a minute. I agree with you, right? I said it earlier. I agree. Thus far, Impact has held up, and he's been better than expected. But that's a big if, that he holds up in a best of 5 against the Shy. Dude, the Shy fucking styles on people. Like, that guy's a monster. So I could also see at least a couple of games the Shy just snowballs the lane.
So far from what we've seen, I think Impact will hold on. It's just, I think it'll be meaningless to hold on when your mid and bot lane will also get outclassed. The whole point of holding on as top lane is you let the other part shine and you be a pressure sponge. And even if you're a pressure sponge for the Shy, like, you're still having to deal with the Rookie and Jackie Love, and TL's going to get outclassed on that end.
Oh, one thing to mention. So, since we're going to talk about SKT versus G2, I do want to address one thing, actually, which is when it came to the end of the tournament and G2 was just playing those, like, more standard comps, it's just playing normal, basically, not doing some, like, crazy pick no one could guess. That was a bit underwhelming as well. They didn't, like, I feel bad because I actually made a tweet where when they were losing the games to PvB, I was just like, why not just fucking play normal comps? Like, then you win all these games. But actually, when I look back now, because it was such a strength, some of those weird comps they did, even though it's very hard to perfectly execute some that even you haven't played very often. I don't know. If this team plays standard, I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. If in this best of 5, we get, say, like, 2 games where G2 do the really crazy picks and we get 3 standard games, of course SKT can win this game. Of course they can win the series.
Oh, this is the one where me and Veteran argued a lot about whether SKT would be able to match G2. I think it's going to come a lot down to just mid lane. Do you think Caps has what it takes to stand up to Faker with the inconsistencies that he's shown? I think that's what it really truly comes down to.
I know what you mean, but the thing for me is, like, I said it before, I actually do think that, like, Khan is pretty underwhelming at the moment. I don't know why he just dropped. I used to be a very big fan of him when he was in Kings, so I thought he was a sick player. But to be fair, I also did notice as that team went downhill, man alive, he gets a lot of fucking help and everything's built around him and he had every resource put into him. So when he's at SK Telecom now, I'll go ahead and say it. I think Wonder's better than Khan at the moment. I think Wonder will beat Khan. Depends on what the picks are. Obviously, not if he does fucking Pike in lane. Like, the aim isn't to win on that one. But I think Wonder at the moment is better than Khan. So the difference there is, like, they could win that lane. So that's, like, I agree, Faker should actually outplay Caps at the moment. Like, I'm still waiting for Caps to do the shit internationally he does on domestically. He's so fucking good domestically. I don't know what it is. Because the weird thing is, it's not like he doesn't go for players. He does. I mean, he had a couple of games where he popped off. But there is something a bit off. Like, he does. Put it this way, if you think in your mind, in this tournament, when Faker was playing, when Rookie is playing, like, you expect, if they just have a normal game, you think, that wasn't very good, was it? That's the level you expect from them. Caps can sometimes do nothing in a win and everyone's just fine with it for some reason.
Well, here's my thing about Khan. Khan's option 3 on SKT. Option 1 is Faker. Option 2 is Teddy. Khan is option 3. Where I feel like a lot of times in the meta, you give your top laner gank once to make sure they get ahead, which SKT does. And after you get them that lead with that single gank, it's very important to come back for the regank when the enemy top laner doesn't have flash and your top laner has to lead so you can take the 2v2s to get that second gank or the dive on the enemy top and take turret plating and fucking start dominating top side. SKT never comes for that second gank back on top lane. They will give Khan the lead and they'll stop giving him resource where he'll start getting ganked by the enemy jungler, where the enemy top laner will start stabilizing so the lead doesn't mean as much. They're actually really fucking bad at snowballing top side. Faker rarely roams, and when he does roam, it's not towards top side. So I do think there's a lot of blame on Khan. When I watched the Jace versus Pyke game, I think that was the very best representative of that. You got a lead on the Jace. Now keep playing towards the Jace and dive the Pyke and get turret plating and take the turret away from them. But instead, they allow Wonder and Jankos to just keep punishing Khan, who's over-aggressing, and never really help him out on that. So yes, Khan hasn't been playing the best, but also SKT kind of hangs him to dry and don't really enable him. And I feel like in terms of mechanics and in terms of level of play, he still has what it takes to be one of the better top laners at the tournament, but I feel like the team just gave up on him.
I think I have to say, after watching him on SKT, I know SKT themselves have a very good lineup, and obviously for all we know they're going to go on and win this tournament and maybe everything's great, but I actually feel like Khan is the odd man out on SKT. Like, this isn't the right team for him. He should be on a team where he's one of like a pair of star solo laners. Like basically, he should have. Here's what should have happened in the off season. He should have stuck with BDD and gone to fucking a team, and they should have been a duo together, something like that, because like if you look at him and Faker, I don't really see any synergy between these two players. Like, they just play the game separately.
He also kind of suffers from like international play. He has never had a good international showing.
He definitely had some underwhelming games, for sure.
So even when he was on Kingzone, right, they were a very much mid and top lane focused team, way more so a top lane focused team than SKT was. Like, Peanut basically lived top lane, Prey and Gorilla never asked for ganks. He still wasn't that great on that team at MSI, so it's really hard to play for Iconis, because I don't think he has the consistency where teams want to invest resource into him, but he's also a good enough player where he's on good teams all the time. Like, he's on SKT, he's on Kingzone, so there's other people that are more reliable.
Here's another thing that needs to be said. Listen, I know Koreans don't watch this show, but you know what? Some people who know Korean do, so get the word out there to him. Be a good lad, will you? Khan, message to you, son. PSA, as it were. Public sucker announcement. You literally have fucked up 2 international tournaments in your career. Maybe more, in fact, if I counted it. Let me think. No, it was the Worlds and then MSI, like the two Worlds ago I'm talking about, and then the MSI after, right? You have done nothing internationally. You haven't impressed us. You've had a team that was built to give, like, you had basically the team that was like my favorite player, Flames, like fucking wet dream of a team to play for. Like, these guys would kill to have a team like that set up around them. You had everything like that, and this is the PSA. Don't talk shit when you can't back any of it up. Because I know he's doing it to try and be liked, because he thinks Westerners like trash talk, right? Mm-hmm. But this trash talk he's done each time now, Loco, is fucking whack, because he doesn't back it up. Like, when he came into that last MSI last year, he was talking all this big boy shit about how he was going to, like, wreck everyone. This time around, he was talking about how he was going to, like, fucking, all sorts of shit, like implying like he's going to be some sick player. Like, I don't know why, because that kind of trash talk, the logic behind it is this. I'm trash talking because I don't get affected by trash talk and by banter. I play however I play because I'm a clutch player. But maybe you do get affected by trash talk.
Khan gets affected.
He gets affected himself. So I don't know why he's doing it. It's like he's saying, like, everyone, make sure the spotlight's on me on Sunday. Like, oh, bloody hell, all the pressure on me. It's like, why are you doing that? Like we say, in this team, you're not even the guy who's meant. It's not like your old Kingzone team. If anything, you could just do the opposite card. You're right at the moment, you're in class and the teacher goes, would anyone like to come up to the blackboard and solve this equation? And you're like, I believe I would miss. And you go up and you write apple. And she goes, that's not even, it's supposed to be a number. What the fuck? That's not the right answer at all. And then you go, get out of this fucking class. You haven't been listening. What you're supposed to do, Khan, is this. In SK Telecom, you're the kid at the back of the class. Just keep your head down. Let Faker answer most of the questions. Let Clid be the teacher's pet with the apple, a real apple, you cretin. That's why you thought was the answer, giving her an apple. I'm fucking sick at the things I do with these fucking analogies. And then you just stay quiet, and then if you actually know an answer, see if anyone else... No. My name's Khan. Well done. Well done. You did a good job. See what I mean, Khan? Get it together, mate. Because my favourite player was a god-tier top laner. It wouldn't have been a little pussy hole if he'd gone internationally. He'd have actually fucking wrecked that shit. He'd have stood for something.
Really interesting to see where Khan's career is going to develop from this point onward. I mean, this tournament isn't finished, and he can still have a good finish to the tournament, but he is one of those anomalies.
Well, I'll tell you why, Loco. Here's the real reason why as well. Remember when we speculated, imagine if Griffin had Keen. Nah, homie. Imagine if SKT had Keen. That would be the fucking dream right there.
SKT
what a team that would be.
SKT came a long way. And the whole Griffin Keen was when Keen was like one man carrying and Griffin was the best. But yeah, like nowadays it looks like SKT's like top lane slot is really missing. And what do we do with Khan? I actually think the best kind of solution might be him going to a lower level team where he can be the sole focus, so he can really like find his place and see what happens when the team plays to you 24/7, and instead of like getting jerked around where you are the primary carry, you aren't the primary carry.
I know where he needs to go. It's this really big country that's above Korea, not North Korea obviously, that used to own Korea. It's called China. Dude, they love top laners who do the shit he does there. Like, that would be his dream paradise. Like, you go there, all the junglers are aggro as fuck anyway. They're going to give you all the carry picks, and you're just going to go balls deep because you're the Korean on the team. That's your dream, Khan. You need to be on fucking... I mean, trying to think what team he would join, like OMG or something. Like, you need to get one of these squads. There's your dream, Khan.
Maybe.
And you'll be celebrated on one of those teams, you know, yeah.
And don't worry, North America has good pay. North America plays towards Korea.
Oh, he would go... Put it this way. That's listen, he's not going to win any championships in the world doing that. But I will agree, if you saw what Crown just came and did in the LCS, Khan would fucking tear the LCS up. It'd be amazing. I'd love to see that. Problem is, I'm trying to think what team could even sign him. Like, there's not many that are really available, is there? The obvious one is Team Liquid. Just get all the fucking... just get all the old good players.
Alright, so
here's the question then, Loco. Mm-hmm. Here's the important question. This is the question where you might end up in a meme video again, where people might laugh in your face. Not like me, obviously other people. Other people aren't allowed to. So it sounds to me like you're actually going to pick SKT to win this series.
Dude, Thorin, the tournament's been panning out pretty close to what I said. SKT would drop a few games early. They dropped a little bit more than I thought they would, and they would learn the meta and they would be competitive. And now it's SKT versus G2. I think it's going to be SKT. I think mid lane is definitely going to matter way too much, and I just don't see Caps holding up in a best of 5 series versus Faker. I don't see it happening. I think Caps is going to be more of a liability than Khan will. You can't hide a bad mid laner in the meta right now. I don't think Caps is bad by any means, but Caps is inconsistent, and Faker has been the best mid of the tournament, so it's such a mismatch.
The thing for me in this matchup is I do think that G2 having all those unusual picks, and I actually believe them. I think they've still got more stored up even, because like normally teams who do cheese, they have like 1 or 2 cheeses. Dude, this team has so fucking many already. It's not. So like I do think they're going to have some for the playoffs. So I actually have always told people cheese, or like the country that cheese works against the best is fucking Korea, because Koreans love comfort. They love to run the same thing 100 times. They like it where if I do a really good move, you do the appropriate response to that move, even if it means you're slightly behind. Just in the logic of, like I said before, you're trying to like gain back a little edge. They hate it when people do really unusual shit with like moves you can't even predict, like the old GAM team or PvB. They ain't prepared for that. So the fact that G2 has those picks means, like, I do think they can win games in this. They can threaten SKT, but actually I'm gonna go with you on this one as well. I'm gonna say SKT wins this series. Like, I think it could probably be a great series. Even if it's 4 games, it'll be 4 really good games. But I think overall SKT actually is a bit more well-rounded team personally. I know everyone hyped G2 so much. I hyped them as well. I thought they were really sick, but I also saw a lot of shit in that group stage that really discouraged me, I have to say. Like at their best, what a genius team. Like I would literally compare them in terms of like the things they're capable of like visualizing. The only team you can compare them to from the West is Moscow 5. Like they're on that level where it's like they're doing shit you can't even think of. But the problem is, like I said, their ceiling, their basement, as it were, like the ground floor, when it goes as bad as it can, they can get smashed as well. So I'll say SKT wins this 3-2.
So the things that G2 can have over SKT...
Actually, I'll say 3-1, fuck it. Like, go on.
The things that G2 can have over SKT are like their creativity in draft and making SKT uncomfortable. But the things that work against G2 is Caps' inconsistency. And when you think of it as a best of 5 series, the creativity is going to matter less and less and less every game. G2 can't be creative every game. They can come up with a strategy. They can come up with a pick that can surprise SKT early in the series. But the longer the series goes, the less and less that is relevant. And Caps, when inconsistency is your problem, you can get by in a best of 1. But in a best of 5, that's going to keep showing up more and more so. So I think a best of 5 series works really, really well for SKT. I think in a best of 1, like if we just played a best of 1 for semifinals, I think G2 has a shot at beating SKT and can even be considered the favorites for it. But in a best of 5, this favors SKT way too much.
And the other factor as well for me is like, obviously the pressure gets bigger for G2. Like if you're Korean, remember, if you're the Korean number 1 seed, you have pressure no matter what. Like it doesn't even matter that SKT wasn't favoured to win this tournament. All the pressure was still on them, exactly the same from Korea. You saw how all the Koreans talk. They all still expect them to win. So the thing is, if you're Korean, like you already live in the world of pressure. But if you're G2, some of those players, like, yeah, they've been deep in big international tournaments, but they haven't done it many times. They've done it like 2 times or something, you know. Like, and then you look at some of the players, obvious example being someone like Mickey X, Perks as an ADC, they have no international experience going deep in tournaments, of course. So, like, even though SKT doesn't have loads of veterans, they have Mata and Faker, basically. Sure, the others aren't as experienced and Khan hasn't been great anyway. I would still give the edge to the Korean team in this one, like in terms of like who's going to hold their nerve, who's going to play to a nice baseline level, who's going to have consistency through the series. I'll give the edge to SKT there.
Mm-hmm. And also Perks versus...
Here's the other thing. I think if G2 does win, they basically have to like smash the series. They have to like 3-zip it. Just like completely dominate all the early game, like super far ahead. I think if they play normal games, like think of the games they were playing against teams like the first game against PVB, right? These were games, or the games with IG, they're just back and forth games. This game, I get a kill, you get a kill. Like that sort of game, I actually think if SKT can stay in a game like that, they just win the game. If they get late, they win. So for G2, I think you have to do what you did in the first few days. You have to snowball these fucking games. Get them over before there's team fights at the end.
Also, Perks and Teddy is going to be a mismatch too. The more, it's developed and the more stable Teddy has become, the more kind of sporadic Perks has, and it's hard to get a good grasp on what we can expect from him.
You know, I have a problem with the Perks rating by everyone in the world as well, because it goes like this. People are still doing that thing where they can't actually analyze the player on the screen because his name distracts them. When they see Perks, they think, sick mid laner, one of the best European players. So in their brain, if he does anything good, he's sick. He's really good, bro. Everyone in this team is good. It's like, mate, I'm not exaggerating. Of all the players in G2, Perks is clearly the worst player. Like, it's clear. Whoa. Because I actually think Mickey X is a fucking sick support player, actually. Like, if he gets on his champions, what a fucking playmaker that guy is. Yankos even's pretty good. Had a couple of off games here. Perks is the worst player on this team. Understandable. He's also the least experienced at his role. Like, it makes perfect sense. Normally, if you role swap like that, you're not supposed to be in the best team from your region and go to MSI. You're supposed to be, like learning, maybe by Worlds, you get it together. Like, it's the actual expectation shouldn't be that he should be this good. I told you, AD carry in this tournament, Teddy's a fucking monster. You've seen that now. I know he didn't do much the first 2 days. He couldn't get activated. He's AD carry. Obviously, Jackie Love, if you get him to the late game, can take over the game. Doublelift actually hasn't really popped off in this tournament. He's been all right. He's had some couple of good games. If you put him in position to win, he will. I feel like Perks has been one of the mismatches in this tournament overall.
Oh, one thing that people mention, or people talked about on the dive, that I want to get your opinion on is, let's say G2 does beat SKT. Does that make Europe better than Korea? So here's my opinion on it. I think that's such a fucking shitty ass argument. So in this world, G2 beat SKT. Let's say they beat them pretty soundly, but it wasn't a 3-0. SKT put up a decent fight, but G2 beat them 3-1 or 3-2. I think it's still fucking ridiculous to talk about Europe as being better than Korea. I think last World, Europe put up a good performance, but Korea also put up such a fucking garbage performance. It was fucking god-awful performance. And also, I think G2 is an outlier team. I think G2 is so much fucking better than every other team in LEC, where SKT was the best team in Korea clearly, but they weren't head and shoulders above every other team. They created that gap between themselves and Griffin towards the end, but I think it's crazy to talk about Korea as it's still just SKT. I think Kingzone, Griffin still definitely contenders, and for Europe it's just totally different, where G2 is miles beyond every other European team.
Even if G2 wins this particular match, I also agree. I don't see how that makes Europe better because, first of all, I don't personally think unless that. Well, like actually, I guess I said if they win, they will stomp. But I'm not actually anticipating that series to be a stomp. So, assuming they don't stomp them, I think it's pretty tenuous to say that makes Europe better than Korea, not least because obviously we need to match up the other teams, right? I tell you what. I'm not a big fan of Kingzone. I do think they're a bit overrated. But then again, like third best team in Europe was Fnatic. They're not exactly that.
It's like OG Fnatic versus Griffin Kingzone. I would take Griffin Kingzone every single time.
Fucking Griffin over OG. That's for sure. Like I think OG is good, but I still feel like, you know what? In a weird way, the reason I'd like SKT to get the final and maybe even win this tournament is because it would actually restore some of Griffin's fucking like reputation. People made out like they were shit because they lost that final. Like. They're still a very good team. They've got amazing pieces, and they absolutely could come back and win the summer and go to Worlds and be the number one team.
Griffin went from being the most talked about team to almost not getting talked about at all after finals ended. Like they literally went from single most talked about team in the world to never being talked about on shows. It's crazy, like how flip flop people are on Griffin.
And like I say, I actually do think a factor that is helping a team like G2 when they play Korean teams is, like I say, like what Korean team has ever played like the way G2's playing now? No one. They're not even vaguely close. Like Koreans don't even see the game that way because remember, they are looking at like mathematically of what's a high percentage play. What is the correct decision after this? G2 isn't thinking that. Like some of the moves G2 does. This is another reason why it's not as easy as thinking like someone could copy G2's playing style because G2 and IG have an absurdly good lineup of players. They have fucking amazing players. So like, there's loads of teams might want to do what they do, but it wouldn't work. You'd look like shit. Like sometimes they're doing moves that actually probably are like not a very high percentage player, but they have such good players they pull it off. Like for them, it's a bit like that old thing where you know that old saying people used to have whenever you played against SKT that like if you're like even in gold with SKT, you're actually like down 5k or something. You know like those sorts of like witty lines people used to have. Like, it's kind of like that in this scenario. Like. They're just not even used to playing against that stuff. So I feel like that's the kryptonite. Whereas the difference is, OG plays the kind of League of Legends Team Liquid would love to play against. Fnatic, mate, Fnatic would just literally roll up to that fucking siege gate, bash on it with that battering ram. The gate wouldn't even fall down, and they go, shit, that's all we had. And then Faker and them would just open the fucking gates. Like he'd be like the fucking Night King, like, all right, bitch. And then he'd just come out and wreck all of them. Like, Fnatic would get torched in this tournament. And all the pleb fans think, if TSM and Fnatic went... There's a reason why those teams didn't even win their regions, boys. Like, calm the fuck down. In fact, what we've seen, I think it's actually pretty cool, is that what's actually shown Loco, that Team Liquid and SKT were the best teams in their regions, is they didn't even have the right style for the meta, and yet were both able to adapt and actually be good enough to win. It's pretty impressive. Kind of shows how good the rosters are.
Yeah, TL and SKT are incredibly stacked teams. All right.
Like, and by the way, props to Kane on the same line that he managed to turn shit around himself. What great coaching. I know Reaper wouldn't be aware of being good at coaching towards the end of a tournament. Like, you know, he likes to do his best coaching on day one, you know, and then when everyone goes, you're a fucking coach of the split contender, he goes, right, I'm off in my hammock, so you guys do whatever you want.
Dude, people can't, it's so fucking hard to judge coaching, as we give credit to Kane, right? imagine Kane still had Pobelter and Ole, then we would give Kane flack for, oh my god, Kane, look at what Kane coaching did to Team Liquid. They're so one-dimensional. The only reason TL was able to turn it around is because they have Jensen, not Pobelter. If they had Pobelter in Jensen's place, they wouldn't be able to do this turnaround. But because they had Jensen, someone who can be a true carry player, they were able to turn it around. I think players matter so much more than coaches right now.
By the way, did you notice that this is also where I always tell people this, right? It's not really that like narratives become real. It's that what happens is sometimes we make narratives like half as a joke, half as just a mild observation, and then we actually realize, oh right, that's actually more true than I thought. That is legit. I wasn't just like speculating there. It is true. So what's mad is it's exactly the same shit again. Like whenever you put Jensen on an international stage, it's like he just gets like a 10% buff. He just becomes better. It's bizarre because, you know, you would think it's easier to play LCS competition, but for whatever reason, he always looks better when he gets to the big international competition. He did here as well. So he actually did deliver on the literal like fucking meme of like the body cop movie of like Doublelift, like, you know, I've won a lot of these LCS championships. I might be able to help you with that. And Jensen's like, have you ever made it out of groups though? I am willing to participate in a trade. And then Steve Arnesett's just sat in the background going, sorry, what was that? Just burning money and fucking like one of those like, you know, those, I can't remember what they're called. What are they called? Those
Stove?
Like, no, you know, in America, like all the bombs stand around like a trash can that's like on fire.
Fire pit.
What do they call those?
The fire barrel.
Is that what they call it? Fire pit?
Yeah.
Steve, he's just tossing like 10,000s in there. And then in the background, for no reason, Reginald's just crashing a Lamborghini into a wall over and over again. Because for some reason, famously in NA history, that apparently means you're rich. I'm so good at fucking stacking old memes. It's unreal. You remember that famous one, the Dan Din one?
So
like,
Dan said,
Reginald is so rich, he could smash 2 Lamborghinis into each other and not even care. It's like, he was actually wrong because, first of all, even millionaires would care about smashing Lambos. That just shows you stupid. But inadvertently, he did admit the truth, which is, you know, not the smartest guy in the world, is he? He's all right. He's an all right guy. He was in the chat last time. He got his fucking work. Say what? Come on the episode if you want to have some fun. We'll be nice to you. Be like when Weldon came on. We'll be lovely. And then talk shit about you all the episodes afterwards. That's the way we do it here.
Let's go to some of the NA topics. So, 2 NA teams announced roster changes.
By the way, the other thing we should do though is, like, obviously we won't be doing the final. So, right, being as we're going to go ahead and assume it's IG against either G2 or SKT, basically, does IG win the final?
I still think it's IG over SKT. I want to hold off on my prediction until I see the SKT G2 series, because if SKT wins pretty soundly and they show they can cover up their weaknesses and really adapt to the meta, I'd be way more comfortable even saying SKT over IG. But I think that's going to be such a fucking good final no matter who we get. And
I do think it'll be a great game. I think it'll be a good match. Personally, I'll take IG though. Like they are. Here's the funny thing is, in this meta, they look unbeatable with no flaws and no weaknesses. But obviously, if you just put them in a meta where the game went like 45 minutes every time, if we had like fucking Ardent Sensor back, they would immediately not be as sick a team. Like you see when Ning doesn't get ahead and when the lanes are just doing normally and it gets to a late game, that's why they need Jackie Love to go, oh, time to put my carry boots on. So, but the problem is we're not in that meta Loco. We're in this one. And in this one, IG looks fucking unbeatable. Like, I don't think anyone can beat them in this final. I think they can lose games just because their playing style allows you to potentially lose games, but they will win this final, I'm pretty sure of it. They've got the jungler, they've got all the lanes, they're not going to have to late game team fight. Like SKT could maybe win a game, G2 obviously can skirmish with them and have a fun series. IG should win though. Call it pretty confidently.
IG versus SKT, it is really.
And by the way, just because of the way the actual meta is currently, logically, if IG win, Ning is the MVP. Come on.
Unless like other players go off, I do think it's going to be Ning.
It's pretty likely though.
But there's
look at how they play.
MVP is a narrative award, and the narrative right now is, oh, the Shy is the best player in the world. Oh, Rookie versus Faker. So I think Ning.
Well, there's one where you are right, by the way, which is famous that people get really caught in recency bias for MVP. So I agree. If one of the solo laners just carries the final, he wins the MVP no matter what in all the plebs' mind. Whereas for me, like, I know that obviously you haven't played 2 best of 5s yet, but I'm expecting Ning to be pretty good. So he's already done a lot in the group stage.
Even with all that, I'm telling you, MVP is a narrative award, and people are going to talk narratives. And the narrative for this tournament has been Rookie versus Faker, and also the Shy being the best player in the world. So I just don't see a world where, unless Ning carries every single game all the way up to finals, he just is not going to get MVP.
Oh, I'll tell you who needs to be the MVP if fucking SKT wins the final though, Loco. It 100% has to be Clid, because there's no way they're beating IG if Clid doesn't go fucking huge. And by the way, he has the capability to do it. I actually told people this. One of the reasons I actually found it so weird that SKT decided to go with this late game style and play that way is because Clid in the LPL is a fucking aggressive jungler. That guy loves to get those like strong early game champions and fucking gank all over the place, which is what they finally let him do in these last 2 games. Like, he was actually getting to do it finally, but he can, put it this way, he can hang with Ning. The problem is, like, Ning's playing style coupled with how his laners want him to play, it's too good. It just fits together exactly where you'd want it.
Regarding SKT's playstyle, I think it has to come from Faker or Goma, or a combination of both, because they have been the only 2 constants on SKT, and SKT has been this late game team fighting team for such a long time. So I do think like the voice of Goma and Faker are too strong, and that's why they kind of reeled SKT into this team fighting team, even with Ning. They are still a little bit more early game focused now, and with MSI meta, they've been pushed more towards being early game, but we'll see what the end result is. But I still think they are too slow for the meta, and they still haven't sped up enough, and they haven't started prioritizing early game picks enough, but they are on the track to do it. And also, one thing I really don't want to fucking see SKT do, if they fucking pull out Azir in the semifinals, I think there is an actual chance they lose to G2. If they go with the more of the team fighting style, SKT will lose to G2, but I think they learned enough where they aren't going to do that. I didn't get to mention that in my semifinals, but they, for some reason, if they revert all the fucking progress they made, they will fucking lose. They have to play to the meta. They can't go back to let's play our team fight pick.
Here's another factor that I actually think goes against G2 is the style they are playing requires you to literally forget like the idea of like you think you can win, you feel confident. You must know that you are going to win to play their style. Like that is a hard style to play in a big international semi-final with the whole world watching you, knowing that if you fuck this gank or this pickup or you flash here wrong, you get behind. That's fucking pressure. That's real hard to do. I hope G2 can do it, because obviously they've got some like players who look like one day they'll be Hall of Famers and legends, so they could end up having the players to do it. But there's plenty of good men who fucking fallen apart under pressure like that. That's why traditionally Korea had the great style of like the sit back and wait style. That always used to be money when it got to playoff series. That's why if SKT lost, be in the group stage, they lose 1 game sometime. But you put them in a series, that style becomes a strength at that point in time. I don't know if it will at this tournament. Like I say, the meta doesn't really suit it. But I think against G2, they could get a couple of games where they just get late game because of that. Like, they don't pull the trigger, or they do and they fuck it up a little bit, or they don't get the right pick ahead at a certain point in time. Because that's another thing G2's done a couple of times now. I know teams haven't been able to figure out how they would do it, so it worked thus far. But they've had a couple of picks where it's like, you have to get this pick going at a certain time, otherwise it doesn't do anything. Like, if SKT does their homework, this could be really fun semi-final, I think.
Final topic before we move on from MSI. There is a very big concept of MSI hangover, where you send the team to MSI, and because MSI is decently long tournament, and it doesn't happen right after the split ends. It happens a decent amount after the split ends, and then summer split is really close. The team that goes to MSI usually has a kind of a hangover from losing at MSI, especially the Western teams that go, from losing at MSI and also not getting enough practice or rest for summer split. Out of all the teams that are there, who do you think is going to suffer from the biggest MSI hangover?
Yeah, it's tough to call, actually. I mean, one reason why G2 could is obviously they still have the Mickey X scenario. Maybe his wrist won't be very good in the next split. They might have to take time off with him. That's an obvious one. I actually feel like all the other teams are pretty well suited. Like IG, I mean, they actually lost way more games this split, in case you don't know, than they did in past splits. In past splits, they only ever used to lose to RNG. This time around, they lost a bunch. I think they lost to like LGD and a bunch of teams like that. So we have your old boy Kramer from the Freaks on it. So, like, they definitely already started slow, actually, at times in the LPL split. So I could see them chilling out. For me, one of the factors as to why I think this happens as well is, if you're one of the teams from the Western regions and you come back from international competition where you've just spent the whole time scrimming, playing stage games, playing the best teams in the world, it's like you have to reset the filter. Now you have to get hyped and focused to play Echo Fox, to play clutch gaming, you know, like that's a big step down. It's the same factor as to why I always say to people, it's not really an excuse that NA can't practice Korea, that NA isn't the best. Because if you really had the skill set to be the best, even with lesser practice partners, you could discipline yourself to practice as if you were playing a good team and not take advantage of like easy punishes where you could individually outplay someone, but the champion in that correct scenario wouldn't be ahead, you know. Like, you could do that. It's just that would require a very, very strong mindset. Whereas obviously Koreans and Chinese teams don't have to do that because they already have equally as good teams when they go back home, pressuring them.
Yeah, you get punished when you play wrong.
That's why I think the hangover effect exists as well. And also you didn't get any break. Obviously, you know, everyone else had like a fucking month off or whatever, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. So
makes sense.
I think TL will actually benefit a lot from MSI, and they will open up to playing.
They should be fucking, even if they get wrecked in this series, they should be confident from this. This was good for them, I think.
They learned how to play around mid, and they probably understood the importance of playing around mid and also not being so bottom dependent. So I think overall, MSI will have a good effect on TL. The one team I'm kind of worried for is G2.
Oh, one thing on the side though, one thing about Team Liquid is, like I said, after watching this tournament, they actually weren't even at full power in that spring split, dude. Like, Smithy could play a totally other style of jungle if he wants. Jensen obviously could be way more of a carry threat. Like, I actually don't think we've seen the best of Team Liquid in LCS yet. That's what I want to see when they go back, because obviously everyone's going to be gunning for them anyway, but they could actually be an even better team in the summer.
The one team
What was the thing about G2?
One team I'm worried for is G2, because G2 has never known failure. This iteration of G2 has not failed at all. The way they dominated Europe and the way they've played in playoffs and even in groups, it was one day of failure. Literally one day of failure. Like, they haven't known true failure. So I'm kind of scared for this G2, what will happen if they get knocked out by SKT after having such a high start to MSI. They beat SKT twice, and to lose to them in the knockout stage, I do think will do a number, and I'm not sure how they'll come back together, especially with Mickey X's wrist injury. So that is the one team I'm worried for, and I think will suffer the most from MSI hangovers.
Well, the thing I actually do have a concern with about G2 is, if you look at this G2 lineup and then the Fnatic lineup that was at Worlds, these are two of the best teams we've ever seen from the West. Really, really good teams. Crucially, it's not just that the team is good. They had full lineups of players who all looked good pretty much, right? Everyone was either like close to Korean level or just very good in their own region. When you have lineups like that and you think to yourself, holy shit, we're in the final, we could win Worlds. Or, wait a minute, we could get the final of MSI, maybe we could even win MSI. And you don't, sooner or later, these teams are going to start to realise, wait a minute, if on my best ever team, on our best ever period, when the other regions like Korea were comparatively worse than they've ever been, we still didn't win, well then why would we ever win? Like, if this is our best chance and we don't actually do it, it's not like, being a contender is kind of bullshit unless you do it. Like, there's no cool story. Like, yeah, used to be the number 3 boxer in the world. Oh shit, what happened? Just got knocked the fuck out in all the title fights, didn't I? That's not such a cool story, actually. Like, that story is only cool if it's like, it was number 3, what did he do? Made use of it, actually. Seized the day. Won a fucking amazing championship fight. For a while, I was a champion. That's the cool story. So I could see these teams getting demoralized because of that. Because in past teams, I actually think the LCS structure, in some ways, is part of the reason we didn't have the best Western teams always, because we never really had super teams. We always had like a good breakup of talent, you know, like there was like 2 really good players on this team, 2 on this team, or 1 superstar here, but this team has 2 pretty good. Like, now we've had these teams like Fnatic, like G2, that have had these really stacked lineups. So like, sooner or later, unless they're going to win tournaments, the West's never going to win, is it? Like, these are the best chances.
Oh, ready to move on to NA?
Yeah, what else is there now?
All right, so 100 Thieves and CLG both made roster moves. Pick one, and we'll start with those.
We'll do the CLG one first.
Okay, so CLG replaced Darshan with Ruin, the top laner from 1907 Fenerbahce, and I actually completely forgot, but he also used to play back in Europe. How was he in Europe?
He was on Giants. The problem is, most Koreans who went to Europe, especially back in those days, people like Profit, etc., they were people who just didn't have big offers elsewhere. So like, that was like the last place they could end up. And so usually they weren't high profile players. So I will say Giants wasn't a very good team. And I actually thought he was a very hit and miss player. But I always say this, and I always try to do my best to keep this in mind because no one else does it, is I find it really hard to be super critical of Koreans playing in regions where everyone has to communicate in another language. Like, I don't think it's fair to act like that guy's in an LCK team and, it's the absolute best you can do, is it, Ruin? It's like, no, he's playing with fucking giants. Like, look at the players they had. Like, this guy actually was, I don't think he did well. He actually underwhelmed me. I'm not surprised he didn't end up being on a better team. But I also will just say, like, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, I think on that team, that's a hard situation to be in. It wasn't a good team anyway. CLG isn't a great team either. But to be fair, the key thing for me here is he's replacing Darshan. Like, put it this way, he can't be worse than Darshan. So there's one positive. And two, actually, I could see this guy making CLG a much more dangerous team, because people are going to forget this. This is the one thing I hate about LCS, is people only remember the end of the split. Whatever happens at the end of the split, they act as though that's static. Like, so for example, Echo Fox made the playoffs. Echo Fox was on a 6 or 8 game losing streak at one point in time and just turned it around at the end. Like, don't ever forget that. So similarly, people will forget now, CLG was always trash, weren't they? What do you want about? CLG was like a playoff team for most of the split. They looked pretty good for like 3/4 of the split. So you take out Darshan and you add in anyone vaguely competent, they could actually they'll be a playoff team in my opinion. Oh, by the way, just for hilarity as well, they did a tweet where I don't know if they were trying to be funny, because I think they just actually thought this was a clever way to do it. They did a tweet like, is anyone ready to #ruin the LCS? It's like, I thought you fired Nick Allen. What?
Anyways, for CLG, it is such an on-brand move for them. They never ever go after the top talent. They go after.
I bet this guy was cheap, by the way. Yeah. I bet he was cheap.
They go after,
comparatively to LCS players, you know.
They go after promising talent or like mid-tier talent. So that's why I was really surprised they didn't get Flame, because Flame wasn't the most expensive person they could get, but he was still expensive enough and he was good enough, so it was completely on brand for them. But this Ruin pickup's also very on brand for CLG. But it doesn't really bring them anywhere, even if Ruin is
not a game changer, let's face it. Like, they're not going to win the LCS, Ali, come on.
They go from like being out of playoffs to being in playoffs, but they're not even a semi-finals team. Like, they probably take the place of Echo Fox if Ruin works out really well, so they still need to make a lot more moves. And I think for CLG, the most important player is actually not Ruin, it's actually Wiggly. This is going to be his sophomore split in LCS. I think second split.
Are we resetting it? Are we doing it all again, are we? Right? Let me just sit back, get a fucking pina colada, put my feet up while you're like, Wiggly's going to be the future of the NA LCS. They're going to give him time to develop. This motherfucker needs more time to develop than someone trying to get fucking pictures of the JFK assassination out from the CIA in a fucking dark room or something. I don't even know if that analogy worked, but whatever. You saw what I was saying. Like, it's taken a while, isn't he?
He hasn't showed good progress or anything good in the first split, and I think a lot of that can be attributed to weak bot lane and weak top lane. I mean, their bot lane is still the same and it's still going to cause problem, but at least he'll have a better top laner to play with. At least he won't have that excuse. He's going to have a good top lane, hopefully, and he has a good mid lane already in Power of Evil. So if Wiggly can't have a good showing in his second split, this is where I'll actually kind of give up on Wiggly and I'll be a lot more down on him. I think the first split has a lot to do with CLG being dysfunctional and Darshan being Garbo, but I think the second split is going to be a lot on Wiggly himself.
You know what? Sorry, Darshan. It's too late to apologize. Too late. And also, and I will always love Zion Spartan. Darshan was sick. Not really. Prefer Zion Spartan. Whatever. It's about as good as his fucking singing. It's terrible, isn't it? Like, I don't do the Christina Aguilera bit. Like, every time I see Darshan, I just remember that famous clip from one of the really early seasons of Family Guy, where Christina Aguilera's in the booth and she goes like, and then Peter's like the producer and he just goes like, whatever you were doing at the end, like that whole like, just stop that. It's like, because that's what you want to say when you hear these fucking singers just go over the top in it. Like, you're not that sick. You're just a guy with good hair who played fucking top lane split pushes. That's it. Well, anyway, you can split push off and get the fuck out. You can split push off and get out. It's out. It's over for you. Tell you what they should have done. You know what they actually should have done, Loco?
What?
Is they should actually have had Zion Williams, top NBA prospect, run into the house while they were doing a team meeting, kick Darshan in the chest into a pool and say, "This is Zion Sparta," and then kick it like 300 into a pool.
Knicks didn't end
He'd actually have a champion pool.
I mean, Knicks didn't even end up getting the first pick. I'm not sure where they're going to get Zion.
What do you actually think of Darshan, basically? As far as we can tell, he's pretty much retiring, right? Is he going to keep playing, do you think?
He can try, but I don't think he'll have an LCS spot. The only real opportunity is Optic, and I don't think Optic's going to pick up Darshan. So Optics just sucks.
I think it's a real shame because I genuinely do think he was one of the real talents that NA produced. Like in the early days, he was very one-dimensional, but he had skills. And then, I mean, you can speak about his prime when that CLG team beat your TSM in the final. He was one of the main reasons why. That guy was very good at that time. That was his peak for me.
I mean, the game changes and you either adapt with it or you get left behind. And I feel like Darshan kind of got left behind.
He also, another sad thing is, and to be fair, my philosophy on confidence is, I think confidence is nonsense the way people talk about it, because people say, you need to get more confident. It's like, what makes someone confident is that they know they are good. What makes you know you are good? Doing things that show you are good. Competence and comfort make you confident. Like, you don't just be bad and go, I believe I'm really good, and then suddenly play well. No, you'll just be a cocky guy who gets shit on. So for me, I actually do think that his confidence got completely cracked a couple of years ago because he stopped being that like potentially carry player, like guy who could be a dominant. He didn't even split push by the end, dude. It was depressing. Like he looked like he himself had bought into the narrative, like, yeah, I'm just trash now, whatever. Which is actually a really sad way to go out, I have to say.
Also, him being president of the player association is a little weird because when I think president of player association, like it's like players like LeBron and Chris Paul, it's players with actual power and players with actual sway. No offense to Darshan, but he's not a player with a lot of power or a lot of sway. So I also don't know how that's going to work out if he's going to maintain his position as president of the player association. Not that player association means anything right now, but it is also something to think about.
I thought of so many jokes related to things that presidents do that are fucked up, but I deleted them all. Some of them it was going to a dark place, so we'll take that back. Right, rewind, use the time stone. Right, we're back now. What do you think then about the other move then? Because the other one's the one to discuss.
100 Thieves, they picked up Amazing, and the other big one is they moved up their academy mid laner who was seeing some game time last split, Soligo, to the starting mid laner. So this one is...
You say that. I know what you mean. They didn't sign another mid laner. I would describe it differently, which is they just straight up pink slipped who he's asked the fuck out the building. Didn't even bother thinking about what the options were. Said like, is that guy out of the building yet? Yes. Right, now we can talk about winning League of Legends. Right, who are you? Soligo. Whatever. You can play. They just... You see that guy out there? Don't ever become like him. Right, now start playing. Like I don't think he was like their first choice, was he? But to be fair, mid lane is going to be one of the hardest roles to fucking recruit for, especially mid-split, like mid-season rather. That's going to be the hardest time to get someone. So I don't blame them for trying that guy. He looked all right in the couple of games he came in and played at the end of the split.
But
I don't think he's a good player, but he looked all right.
I mean, I think their end game has to be letting go of Banger someday in the end, because I don't think they can solve this problem with NA mid laner, like the problem they have right now. Like, who's the next NA mid laner that's coming up? Soligo, Insanity, Golden Glue. Like, are you really gonna bet on these guys against Bjergsen, Jensen, Niski, Crown?
I know, so you left your boy Demonte out there.
Demonte, yeah, like, or is this the solution? Is this how you're gonna solve the mid lane problem right now as 100 Thieves? Like, yeah, like Demonte, Insanity, Soligo, Huhi, Golden Glue. Like, these are not actual solutions. So
do you know something I just realised is hilarious, right? What is the signature champion of Huhi?
Aurelion Sol.
Of course, right? And the word Sol, S-O-L, obviously means, it's like from the Latin for sun, right? That's what it actually means, Sol. But the word S-O-L is an acronym in English. It means shit out of luck.
Is that 100 Diva shit out of luck right now?
I'd say Huhi's more shit out of luck, because where the fuck's that guy going? He's basically just retiring now, isn't he?
I mean, him and Darshan will maybe, I don't know, join CLG Academy team.
What they should do is they should move into an apartment together and then start filming a hilarious odd couple type scenario, you know? And then every now and then when Afro's feeling down, he just comes around to kick it like, oh, yo, dog. And then they're like, how you do me like that, man? We used to be somebody. Whatever. That's the real move I'm interested in is obviously Amazing joining as a jungler, right? Because I actually don't think Amazing's like a particularly good player at the moment. And this is the key thing. The problem for me, I mean, we just had that whole discussion about Xmithy, is like, this isn't the year where you can jungle and just be like, haha, I'm just using my brain. I don't need to use my fingers to beat you. It's like, you definitely do in this fucking year, because this year is about ganking, fucking dueling people, figuring out the tiny margins of whether you can take like a 2v2 skirmish fight in a jungle somewhere. Like, that. This is not the year to just be walking around on fucking Gragas going like, ha, I will throw this behind you. Like, that ain't the year for that. So I think Amazing is, I think he's overblown it himself as usual as to how much of a great shot caller and intelligent guy is. He seems like certainly an above average pro in that sense. He is a veteran. He's been on many different types of teams. So I actually do think where he could help the team is if he can activate Someday again, now they can be a team that can do something, because they not only did fuck all for Someday last split, they even made Someday start to get bad by the end of the split. Like, it looked like they really killed all their chances. Afromu, I already said this in the past. Afromu, for me, I do consider him to be cut from the same cloth as people like Mithy, other great players who have a downtime and then they come back eventually. They get motivated, they put the time in, they figure out the current meta and they become top players again. So for me, mainly with Amazing, it's about what can he do for Someday. I don't really know the whole Saligo angle. We'll see what happens there. But I think Afromu can take care of himself. I think he'll get his shit together.
But Someday isn't...
If he doesn't, they're going to be bad, though.
Someday isn't Huni. Someday is more closer to Impact. So even if, like, Amazing activates Someday, like, what does that look like? Someday isn't going to solo carry your team. I think Someday is very capable. I think Someday is a great laner. I think Someday is solid in team fights. But he's not someone that can be the primary carry of your team. At least he hasn't shown to be. So even if they activate Someday, like, he is not going to be, like, a 1v9 player for you. He is way closer.
That's the problem with this team, isn't it? Like, if you notice, right, all the teams that did the same structure as 100 Thieves are in deep shit right now, Loco. The teams where the two players they went for the big names is top and ADC. Mm-hmm. Because logically, they're spread out across the map. Mid becomes a massive liability because it's not one of your best players. Like, it's going to be hard to make that work. You could in the past, because the game was slower, because rotations were slower, because you do things as a team once you get late in the game, because it's just the jungler and the support moving. Everyone's roaming now. It's really hard to make a team work with a weak mid and your best players at top and ADC. How do you do that? Like, fucking Clutch couldn't do it. No one pretty much can at the moment, as far as I can tell. So, I can't think of any top team anywhere in the world where that's the best combo.
Also, mid and jungle as a duo is going to be...
arguably that's Fnatic, so Fnatic also didn't do that well either, to be fair.
Mid and jungle as a duo is also going to be problematic. I don't think a lot of Amazing's problem is just going to come from Amazing. Like, 100 Thieves already have so much holes as a team, and they didn't plug their holes well enough. Like, Amazing and Soligo, while they are better than Huianda, like, you still carry over so much of the problems as before. So I'm not sure what this does for them. Like, does this put them in playoff contention? I don't even think it does that. So yeah, I actually do think pretty highly of Amazing. I think he brings along a great system. Anytime Amazing has been a player for a team, he has had his own shot calling and his own system kind of implemented onto the team. Sure. And he was a key part of Schalke being able to get to finals. But even if he brings that system over to 100 Thieves, like, that's not going to be enough. And it's not, the game isn't very much about shot calling, very much about team fighting, very much even working as a team. It's about working as small groups together and actually having good pressure points on the map. And yeah, does Amazing and Soligo really provide that? So that there's my big problem with 100 Thieves. And I think 100 Thieves will always run into the same kind of problem until they are able to replace one of Bang and Someday with a mid laner import. I think without a mid lane import, like, this 100 Thieves roster is never going to function.
The other thing as well is, like, the most interesting part of the move is obviously, like, Afromu's rep isn't just based on being a good support. It's based on being a captain and being, like, the shot caller, the guy. So the idea he'd bring someone else in, like, on the one hand, it's good because it shows, like, he understands it wasn't working. He's willing to try something else. That makes me wonder where Afromu's head is at, though. Like, are they both going to, like, share the role? Are they going to, like, work together? Like, I won't go into the whole side rant about the whole shot call thing, whatever. But I'll just say, like, yeah, I wonder how much, like, it will be on Amazing to do that role, because I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case.
Support and jungle are the most vocal roles, and it's not terrible to have two vocal players as long as they can find a common ground. And
they both see the game the same way, yeah.
Amazing and Afro are both old enough where I don't think either will be, like, a diva in a sense, where they're like my way or the highway. So I think it'll be better. But even it's better, like, you're being better from a 10th place team and you only replace 2 members and you replace them with kind of similar level of players, maybe better. So you're not moving up dramatically. I think if this 100 Thieves roster makes playoffs, that's like a great that's a great step up. But if they place 10th again or they get all the way up to 7th or 8th, I'm not like, holy shit, these guys failed. I'm like, it's kind of where I expected you to place.
The thing that's weird about it though is, right, okay, so by the way, for people who don't know, as far as I know, I believe Amazing just kept his residency as said to be NA when he was there, because what would be, like, you know, obviously it's only now we've started to import really heavily into Europe, so there was no point changing it back anyway, right? Because when you're in Europe, fuck it, list me as an NA player. Origin team he was playing for was all fucking Europeans anyway, so it didn't matter. So first of all, he doesn't count as an import. So I realise, obviously, that's one of the issues, is how many imports can you really put on a team? Because the problem is, like you say, the reason you have to pick between Bang and Someday is because logically you want to fill mid lane. Well, the most obvious way to get a mid laner right now is go to Europe. Obviously, that's the most obvious. They've got tons still, like even in the fucking, like, you did an interview with him, Leader, who just won the EU Masters, look fucking sick. The whole bunch of players in mid lane look very promising. It's funny that rookie split for the spring split, that crop, a lot of them didn't end up being super, super sick or anything. I actually think the next lot are the ones that look like they're going to be really good. Like the fucking Leader, Magi Felix type group of people who are presumably going to start to move up now. But you got to make your move on that. You've got to have it scouted in advance. You got to know. Otherwise, those European teams are doing the same thing. They're all figuring out if they want that player. They're all talking to them, etc. So I think if you're 100 Thieves, you can't really do much summer. You've just got to make a big, big decision in this off season. Because you're not going to Worlds, but out that's out the fucking window.
This is just them band-aiding the problems from Spring Split. But yeah, probably going to end up exactly where they were, or a little bit ahead.
Oh, I've got one last thing for you.
Okay.
This is just a little bit of side speculation. What do you think about the news, hasn't been completed yet, that Immortals might be buying basically the Houston Outlaws aspect? Because what people don't realise about that is, right, so people think that means Immortals will be back in. Well, yeah, all Immortals would basically have Optic. That would be their team. They would be in LCS again. And obviously, famously, they weren't accepted for that permanent partner program or whatever the fuck it was called. I mean, they don't call it franchising. I know it's called permanent partner program, but they weren't accepted for that famously, even though Noah Winston was actually viewed by many outsiders as like the most vocal of the coach.
He had the video that's like, let's create franchising. And then he's like, let's build a wall around the NALCS franchise. And then when they finished building the wall, Noah's like, guys, can I come in now? Like, you guys built the wall around the NA franchise and I'm not in it. Hello, guys? And then he just got left out. So Riot's kind of whole thing on franchising was, we want to pick partners that are long-term, that want to be with us long-term, that see a future in us. And that's why, like, we chose the 10 of you guys. Like, we are in it together. Like, you guys are the chosen ones. Like, we committed to you and you committed to us. And within the second year, two orgs are selling majority share and they want to get out, Clutch and Optic. Then there has to be some kind of a fuck up on Riot, and they pick people that aren't really long-term invested in League of Legends. Like, let's say last year was fucking garbage for League of Legends, which it wasn't. It was a great year for Western League of Legends, and this year looks like it's on the up and up, and the viewership has gotten good, or viewership has gotten better, and there's people wanting to sell majority portions of their org or sell their org altogether. Then that means people are fucking, like, Riot fucked up with the partner selection. 2 of the partners they selected aren't as committed to League of Legends long-term as they thought they were. So I think it's kind of a knack on Riot franchising. And also it's kind of bullshit of Immortals, where the rumor was they didn't seem very profitable and they were overly investing into Overwatch League. That's why Riot didn't want to have them in. Well, I mean, they've still been investing into the Overwatch League, and it's not like they're generating profit in it by any means. So they still have all those financial problems that you outlined before, and you're fucking accepting them back in. So it's just, I'm glad that Immortals is coming back to LCS. They were an org that cared very much about League of Legends, and it seems like they're still going to care a lot about League of Legends. But the whole process itself it's kind of shady. It's really sus.
What I'm about to say is pure speculation. Some of it is based on some things I know behind the scenes, but the majority of it is speculation. But this is my read. if I read between the lines, I never for 1 second ever bought the angle that Riot looked at the financials and the structure of Immortals financially, and that it was not only bad, but significantly worse than other teams that they were accepting, and that's why they didn't accept them. I don't believe that that's the reason. And in fact, when I did my CSGO show, I know you might think it's weird to bring it up, but obviously Optic has a CSGO team, Immortals owns MIBR. When I was talking about this topic on my CSGO show, Richard actually made a point which basically he kind of is in the same camp as me. Mm-hmm. Based on the information he has, the reason he thinks that they didn't accept Immortals was because of Noah Winston. Because Noah Winston was seen as a public figure with a very good speaking voice and had a very good demeanor that was never disrespectful to Riot, who was able to corral people and rally the forces, but he wasn't part of the old kings of Steve and Reggie and Jack. He wasn't part of that little crew, but he was seen as someone who could be a leader within that group and could actually be someone who could turn all the teams against Riot. And so it was communicated to me, at least, Richard seems to be corroborating it, that they didn't want Noah Winston primarily. They didn't like his approach, and that was one of the reasons. And crucially, one of the things people don't know about what Riot did with the franchising and what Overwatch League did as well is they didn't one day both say, I'm just going to start a franchise league. Who wants to join? They started it knowing they wanted certain companies in. Mm-hmm. Like in the Overwatch League, they started it. Before they ever announced it, they'd already gone to a bunch of NFL teams like the Patriots, etc., and said, we're going to start a league. Like, you guys can be the first in. Similarly, from what I've heard about Riot actually had other people out there in the scene that had been inquiring that were like, oh, can I get an LCS team? And they're like, yeah, there's a couple opening up. Don't worry, just hold your tough. And so all I'll say is this. First of all, again, as you said, why would, if the structure of the company didn't make any sense, and now they've taken another round of funding, how would that make any sense to accept them now? Well, the difference is Noah Winston isn't part of the picture now. That's the difference. That's the only difference. Well, so add that in. Yeah, go on.
Riot doesn't have... I mean, Riot has to approve the buyers, but you think if Noah didn't step down as CEO or like a chairman, that they would have been like, nope, you can't come back into the LCS. Like under, like, what do you think? Do you think that's what would have happened if they didn't?
I think so, yeah.
Wow,
because the key thing is Optic, not Optic, Infinite has other buyers. Like, for example, Hex, the guy who used to own Optic, wants to try and buy the team back, but at the moment they're trying to sell to Immortals for a whole behind-the-scenes shit that I won't go into, for their own reasons, right? Bigger things than you or I, way above our pay grade. So all I'll say is this, is like the idea, because here's the basic premise, like I said before, right? The problem with the way Riot presented that story, or however that news got out, is it made all these idiot fans think that all the other teams like make money and have a great structure and are like, it's all awesome. It's like, no. You know, like almost every team, I would say probably every team in LCS loses money. Of course. Think of the fucking payroll alone. Where would you be making that money back? Yeah. At the moment, just as in every other area of esports, Overwatch League, CSGO, at the moment, the game in esports is not make money. It is stay alive and hold
grow.
a spot near the top,
and
hoping that when it becomes massive, you have your top team in position. Like, the idea is you're setting up your place at a table where you're not going to eat until later tonight. Like, the meal hasn't come yet. There's not even any starters at this point in time. So you have to be able to withstand your hunger at this point in time. If you can't, you're going to have to sell. You're going to do like some of these teams and get cold feet, like Clutch Gaming, etc. I bet these were teams that saw the LCS and they were like, oh, pretty good numbers so far, not bad. Oh, you're only just starting franchising? Cool. Well, let's see where this goes. What the fuck? That's only a tiny boost. Like, I thought this was going to be like, you guys, because remember, for anyone who doesn't know, I've seen the reports that some of these teams saw when they invested into esports. The reports were literally lies. Like what they gave in the reports, I won't say which reports, I don't want to get fucking sued, but there's certain reports that people might know from financial institutions who were paid to investigate the case study of esports. They gave as their bull case, which is the best possible case, numbers that are unbelievable, mate, like will never be accomplished. Like they literally just took like a year with a tiny good thing and just extrapolated it to be like in like 10 years, like ridiculous number. Meanwhile, what they gave as their base case, what they claimed the current case for esports is, should have been the bull case. Like they exaggerated the base case. They took every possible number that sounded cool and every like aspect, and they took. You know, there's a famous saying, Loco, about numbers. It's like numbers don't lie, but if you torture them, they'll tell you everything. Because the idea is, if you like chop this part off and I exclude that part, it's like that famous thing that they do. I'll give you a great example. There's a famous thing that journalists do in America where they want to talk about how dangerous like Americans are in terms of terrorism, right? Where they say, since September 12th, 2001, most people killed by terrorism, it was by Americans. It's like, yeah, because you picked September the 12th. Obviously, we all know what happened on September the 11th, don't we? Like, if you purposely skewed the numbers to be disingenuous, haven't you? So, like, that's kind of what people do, basically. So what I'm getting at here is, like, fans seem to be, from my understanding, are way off base with how much they think Immortals doesn't make or how bad their company is and how great the other ones are. Like, put it this way, the Overwatch League literally was picking, they had a way better selection of people who wanted to invest, by the way, than the LCS. They had like massive sports franchises, like companies like Comcast buying in. These companies, they could have also said to Immortals, you know what, thanks but no thanks, we've got plenty of people who want to buy in. No, Immortals was one of the first people they accepted. So I don't buy the angle personally that they had all the financials off in that way. I think that that's like a cover story, which is a clever one, because since none of the fans have any of the numbers, they can't know it's true or false. And that is all speculation.
So talking about esports speculation and why I think esports is really interesting and why I think people should be interested in investing into esports is give it like 5 years, give it 10 years, give it 20 years. The fan base for baseball, basketball, like all these sports are getting older and older and older and dying out. And I feel like the younger generation, so the people born in the 2000s, the Gen Zs, they're much, much more interested in esports than they are in traditional sports.
Sure.
And that's where esports is really going to fucking kick off and where it's going to be the new sport and it's going to be way more mainstream.
My analogy that I often tell people is, the way that esports, if it does become like a true global phenomenon where like everyone knows it, the way that will actually, like, I'll give you the analogy right now. So if esports ever makes it, you'll know esports makes it when people talk about a game like League the way they talk about Fortnite. You know, when Fortnite was popping off, every kid knew it, every sports star knew it, they were all making jokes. The day they talk about League or Dota or CSGO on that level of like an everyday comment, that's when you know it's big, and it isn't there now. So what I would say is this, like, the analogy I would give is the way esports will conquer the future isn't through changing anyone's mind. It isn't through making like for example, if your dad turned on the TV, it's not that we ever have to get the broadcast so that he can enjoy it and he would understand it. No, like you're saying, it's about the youth. The key move is this, right? The reason why sports like baseball are dying out is because baseball was based around the idea that it's a part of a family. Like, your grandfather supported the Red Sox, so we're going to go and watch the Red Sox, son. Look, here's your hot dog. Like, this is the sport baseball. Like, you don't just follow baseball because you like baseball. You do it for everything around it as well. Like, you spend time with your dad. It's something to do. It's something you can both have as a shared hobby, cool way to spend time with each other. When esports is like that, when the next generation is like your kid and you tell him, like, let's watch this new game. You know, I used to play a game like this. Look, this is going to be pretty cool. That'll be where you get a whole generation who starts to know about esports because they will have literally grown up on it.
Yeah.
That kid will be flaming the fuck out of the entire LCS season 25 or whatever. If I'm alive, I'll probably be dead at that point in time. You'll probably all look back and be like, oh, we should have appreciated him while he was here.
I think it'll be more like, good riddance.
In heaven. I'll be up there in heaven, looking down.
Oh.
With all my old pals, Genghis Khan, Jack the Ripper. We'll all be up there.
Final topic. Riot responding to the EchoFox racist investor and shoving him out. Monty tweeted about it. Monty has this amazing ability. Whenever something happens in League of Legends, he has an ability to make it about himself. So he talked about,
I mean, this was justified.
Yeah, and he talked about, well, I only had 10 days to sell. They're giving him 60 days. Like, this was not the case when Renegades was forced to sell. Glad Riot is doing this, but the precedent that was felt was not correct. Like, anyways.
Okay.
What was your take on EchoFox?
No. After you say that, you have to give your thoughts first. Go on, then explain why that's silly. Because you didn't, with that voice, we can tell you think it's silly. So why do you think it's wrong?
Okay. I don't think it's wrong, and I understand where Monty's coming from and where he's complaining from, but Monty's just had such a salty attitude towards League of Legends where it's...
Is this real? Wait a minute. Like, are you one of those people who think anyone who's angry is salty?
Monty has been salty towards League of Legends.
No, listen. Imagine I killed your daughter. Like, if you kept saying 5 years later, like, you fucking arsehole, I'll kill you. If someone said... You're a bit salty, that wouldn't be appropriate, would it? Like, it's actually appropriate to be angry because your daughter was killed.
I guess I wouldn't publicly talking about killing you. I would just figure out a plan and I would get it done.
In your heart, it would still burn. And the key thing is, Loco, like with Monty, it would go away for a while. But if someone brought up something like, oh, you know, that guy's fucked around with someone else's daughter, it'd bring it straight back, wouldn't it? That second, you'd be back in the moment. Think about Monty's scenario, and we'll relate it to the Echo Fox case. In the Echo Fox case, we have literal proof. Richard's seen some of this proof. We have proof of the things that this person said, literal slurs to someone on a racial basis. He didn't just make racial humor. He literally committed an act of racism. Like, you have to understand, there's a distinction that needs to be made there in the modern day. If someone, say 3 white people, sit around and play video games, and one of them calls the other one a slur, a racial slur, but he's not saying it because one of them is black and he's saying that. That's not actually racism. That's racial humor, which you might dislike and say we should.
And that's just someone being like fucking stupid. Like
But the point is, it's different from actually being racist.
I will agree with you on that. I think most gamers saying racial slurs are saying
what is it?
It's immaturity and like them wanting to be edgy. They're not like going to secret KKK meetings.
But the point I'm making here is this guy wasn't even just doing that. It's not like he just threw the word around just like randomly. He was doing it literally as a racist attack on someone. And the evidence is all there, right? So they have to literally get rid of this guy in 60 days. Remember, this is the key aspect. And obviously I know the public will just have to trust me on this. Let's just say I'm speculating, shall we? There is literally no evidence in Riot's case against Monty. I know you're all thinking, that doesn't make sense, Thorin. Remember, there was that girl, Maria, and she was... That was not the reason they made him sell his team. That was the initial reason to look into it. The reason they claim he had to sell his team is because they say they treat any agreement that someone will own a team in the future as you own the team now, and they claimed that they knew that Monty had agreed to sell the team back, part of it, to Chris Badawi. Now, not only is there no physical evidence that Riot ever produced, privately or publicly, but secondly, it's based on what I've heard internally. I have spies everywhere, mate. The actual story is even that Riot themselves just claim that someone they know overheard a conversation. So I'm supposed to believe that Monty was somewhere public, you know, eating a fucking burger, and then there's some guy with like one of those wacky like mustaches and glasses disguises and an old raincoat reading the newspaper, and then he goes, so anyway, Chris, when I sell the team back to you, definitely next year, which I'm definitely doing, it's going to be so sick when you own the team. Anyone hear that? Nah, of course not. Anyway, I'm going to sell the team back now. So that's what we're supposed to believe, right? And as Monty says, they didn't say, you've got 2 months to sell your team. You've got a month to sell your team. They told him you have 10 days to sell your team. And crucially, they announced it. So when they announced it, the people Monty is now potentially selling to know he literally has to sell the team, which reduces your leverage, which means that you get less value for the sale. So you basically are just getting fucked out of money. Now, they did that for malicious reasons. Speculation. I think they did it because they were sick of Monty and they thought, you know what, fuck this guy. When we fuck him, we'll fuck him extra hard, and on the way out the door we'll fuck him. Because you know what, we found out what Riot Games are like. They fart in people's faces and think that's reasonable. Like, this is the company they are. So it's a side issue, but my point there is I don't particularly think Monty's salty. Think about it, right? In a normal circumstance, you know what he would have done? He tried to do it. The first thing I would do if I was Monty is sue Riot Games, right? Do you know the reason he didn't sue them? I don't know if you've ever heard this detail.
I've never heard of this detail.
It turns out when you buy a team in League of Legends, you have to sign within a contract a clause that says the maximum damages that Riot is culpable for is something like $25,000. So as a result, what would be the point in doing like a court case that might last like 3 years, might be like $400,000 cost, and at the end of it all, you make $25,000. Like, at that point, now you need a second court case to break the contract and prove it shouldn't stand. So he had to just give it up. So basically, he got fucked, didn't even get to get any revenge, and now he has to just sit in the same industry, watching the same corrupt people doing fucked up shit, being favourable to other people. I don't think that's really salty if you just go, that's a bit fucked up. Remember when they fucked with me? Like, you guys think he's supposed to get over it. Like, when you fucking, like, trip over and you graze your knee, like, you don't cry about that 5 years later. You would if someone's chopped your legs off. Little rant? You like that?
I just thought, Monty is someone that I respect a lot, but there's one moment, like, I think that everyone goes through where it kind of clicks for you. Like, your parents aren't just parents, they're people too, and they make mistakes. And then like that kind of clicked for me as for Monty, where I always viewed Monty as like a mentor, as someone like that's like very like good and someone that I can look up to. But like moments like these where I'm like, Monty can be salty and I understand his reasoning for it, but he can come off way better than he currently is, or like to the public.
Oh, he could, but in this case, he doesn't care about that. Like,
he's not trying clearly to doesn't
get all the fans and be loved in that. And he obviously, by the way, I'll tell you right now, he doesn't give a fuck about League of Legends fans. Doesn't care whatsoever. What people don't know is every little League of Legends shithead, because by the way, if you ever see Monty's Twitter, it's full of people constantly just messaging him like, haha, you were kicked out of League, haha, you can never come crawling back now. Like, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Monte Cristo has the best analysis or commentary contact, not just in the world, maybe of all time. Maybe of all time. That's better than when Fatality had a $500,000 commentary gig commentating for the CGS. Because even though Monty's number might not be that exact number, he has more leverage and he has more leeway. Like, he has all these extra clauses in his contract. That unreal. Like, Riot would never give someone. Except they've actually, funnily enough, by people like Monty taking a stand, been now pushed into a situation where people like Shocks are freelance, Deficient's freelance. Like, eventually, they have got that position. So, first of all, he's killing it in his job. He's definitely not sad about that. And secondly, anyone who thinks, like, he's going to have to come back to League, like, you also are so dumb you don't understand esports. Like, the Overwatch League, literally, it was impossible that it could fail in the first 2 years. You know that, right? Like, even if it had 0 viewers and made $0...
Yeah, way too much money propping it up.
They would have at least run it for like 5 years or something and really tried it and you know, like the idea he was going to be done for 1 year. That's so naive, you know. Like maybe one day Overwatch League will fail, maybe League will still be going, but I guarantee you he just goes to another game, then he won't be coming back to League.
Okay, back to the original point. What do you think about Riot pushing out that racist guy?
Right, this is where you have to kind of understand the concept of what franchising is, because crucially this isn't like someone just saying to, like, this isn't like me saying to you, oh, someone in your company's racist, you better fire him, and you being like, well, what the fuck does that got to do with you? Right, the point is, in this scenario, when that story comes out, that reflects badly upon the Echo Fox permanent partner that is part of the LCS. So actually, it is within Riot's interest to make sure stories like that don't get out. And by the way, as a quick aside, just think about this for a second. Take this as food for thought, everyone watching this episode. Think about how many times you've heard about a pro player in Overwatch or CSGO or League of Legends say something racist or be rude in solo queue or get a ban. And there's all these stories from mainstream gaming reporters, from Kotaku and Polygon and Waypoint and all these websites, PC Gamer, they all come out and they write hit pieces, don't they? They say like, gamers are toxic, this guy's a piece of shit, white supremacy again, racism. You know why there has been no reporting like that about this guy being racist? Because as far as I can tell, he's like Indian or Pakistani or something. Like, he's not white. So I'm not joking. That's just a little clue into how biased the media is now. This guy has done an actual explicit, provable act of racism at a high level of a fucking company, and it's not even being reported on. Nobody gives a fuck. There's no outrage pieces. There's no media swarm around. There's nothing. There's like a couple of stories, one by someone who can't even get on the League of Legends subreddit. So that's an aside, just some food for thought to really bake your fucking noodle there. In terms of like him and what he did, obviously people like that have no place in this business. Like the way he behaved wasn't a joke. It wasn't some banter between people. It wasn't like a private combo that, you know, it wasn't like if me and you talked, and I don't do this, but let's say for some bizarre reason, you think it's fine to like make fun of you being Korean all the time or something, and I said something really mean, but it was like a DM and it wasn't you who leaked it, it was like someone hacked your Twitter and leaked it, and so it looked really bad, right? In that scenario, it is unfair to act like I publicly said that. This guy, even what he said privately wasn't fun. Like he disciplined. And I have to say, I think Echo Fox are out of their motherfucking minds, and not surprised when you look at the dog shit lineups they've made, because the fact that Rick Fox came out and said he would leave the org is a power play. What he's showing there is they won't fire him unless I make this public. That means Echo Fox weren't going to deal with it. That's what a fucked up team they are. So think about this for a second, Loco. A team who has shown they weren't going to deal with multiple acts of blatant racial discrimination wasn't even going to have to sell their team until this came out publicly. But Monty had to sell his team because Riot's dog heard from their cousin's goldfish through the fucking pipes that Monty was dreaming of selling his team. Like, fuck, get the fuck out of my face.
Damn. Have you seen Pets, the movie? That's where that's inspired from.
You mean The Secret Life of Pets?
Yeah, The Secret Life of Pets.
Yeah, get right, you fucking scrub. Pets it could be any movie, you know. Secret Life of Pets, yeah.
I didn't get to see the movie. Anyway.
I have. But only because you wouldn't believe that, would you? Loco, I'm not joking. Aside from, like, you know, Toy Story and the old school Disneys, I never used to watch those movies until I realised there's a certain kind of chemical configuration in your brain that's actually really fun to watch those movies. You get really into them. You become a little kid again. It's great. See if any of you out there can figure it out. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm not going to say how it's activated. But all I'm going to say is if you can get, checks notes, lit in that particular fashion, you too could enjoy that movie.
Well, one thing I want to touch.
What do you think about this whole
the racism thing?
The racist angle, yeah.
So I know a lot of sports are like they have very, very long history, and with long history, like the world wasn't as understanding or accepting as it is nowadays, where racism played a big part, and like racism was a huge part in football, where you can't win with a black quarterback, you can't win with a black head coach, and a lot of that has changed with Russell Wilson and who's the head coach of Steelers, Mike.
Oh, I can't remember. Is it Mike something? Yeah,
Mike Thompson.
Or something. Thompson, is it?
Or whatever.
Tomlin.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin. So where a lot of that has changed, where people viewed it as you can't have black people in cerebral positions in football and win, and a lot of black quarterbacks and black head coaches changed that. So for gaming in general, I think gaming is the one sport, whatever if you want to call it, or one esports where race should play almost no role, because
of course,
where a lot of sports also suffer from this, where basketball is sometimes looked as a hood sport because you can play, a lot of inner city kids play it and it's very cheap to play it. You just need a court and a ball. But when you get into something like soccer or baseball, you need like clubs, like you need like extra gear, you need to rent the field or all that. Gaming has such a low barrier of entry. Like all you need is a okay computer and internet connection and you can play. That's literally all you need. So we are one of the most, like, we should be one of the most accepting communities.
And the whole physical aspect doesn't affect the in-game, you know. It doesn't matter how tall you are, how fast. Like, yeah, there are some minor mechanical aspects, but even those are pretty overplayed probably in most cases.
So I feel like, yeah, racism has like no place in gaming, and also we don't even have to deal with like the bullshit of like, oh, but there's a history of this, like there's a tradition of this. Racism is not a traditional part of gaming. Like, it should hold no fucking bound in it. So I think it is good that Riot is pushing it out and they're fucking nipping it in the bud. And I mean, I'm all for it. I think that is like what makes gaming so global and what is making games so mainstream. Like, doesn't matter if you're white, black, Indian, Korean, like Chinese, like League of Legends and all kind of games are played everywhere, and it's acceptable for everyone to play. And with internet getting better, like you play with people of different races and culture all the time. So to push racism like into gaming, where it's been so much about anti-racism and it's been so forward moving, is so fucking backward. And I like how Riot is taking a pretty good stance on it.
Because that's why I made that distinction between racial and racism, because obviously esports and gaming in general, especially in countries like the USA, does have a problem with like 14-year-old kids being too edgy, trying to say the N-word, etc. Like that, it does have a problem in its history with that. But one of the reasons why I make that distinction is I hate these articles that make it like every gamer is a racist and it fucking hates women and all. Like, it's absolute bullshit. It's not only wrong, it's literally 180. Like, I've made this point in the past. Esports is one of the only fields in the entire world where the top women actually are allowed to compete against the men. They're not even allowed to in most of the sports. So just as with gender, race, whatever, I agree with you. In theory, you can be from any background to be the best player in these games. That's one of the coolest parts. I actually think that's one of the best selling points, is that in the future, and we've already seen it in the games, that you can be the best player from any country.
Who said
South Korea, in terms of like sports, isn't known like as the best fucking country, but in League of Legends it is. That's cool.
Sumail from Dota 2, I forgot exactly what country he came from, but he used to play, what is it?
I think he's from like Jordan or something. Is it? No, that couldn't. Am I right in that?
So Pakistan. Sumail's from Pakistan. I think.
Pakistan. There you go.
So he used to play way back in like some LAN center in Pakistan, and because there was enough system and there was the internet, he could get discovered by people from bigger countries and bigger scenes, and he he got to become one of the best Dota 2 players in the world and win international. And I think crazy opportunities like that, like those kind of miracle stories, are pretty common in esports because people from every country has a chance to stand out, and it's
one
very
reason
available.
I also think it's great as well. This is also where esports does actually transcend racism. Is except for examples where you're already a pro. If you're just some guy on, like, let's say an account appears tomorrow and it's super quickly going up to like platinum, diamond in NA Challenger solo queue rather, and like the win rate's great. You look at the game, the guy's doing really great. By the time he gets on a team, and by the time he's played a while, nobody knows who he is still. Like, he's just a player in the game. Like, you couldn't even be racist because, like, how would you know what his race is? Like, you're not going to know until he shows his face, streams, comes out pub. So the good thing is, even just the games themselves sort of get over some of the initial reasons that like a racist person who's ignorant might just immediately think, oh, I don't want to play something like that. You won't even know. So by the time he even has to confront it, oh, he's already your teammate now, or maybe I was wrong about that. It can actually not only get past racism, it can transcend it. Because you could imagine a scenario where a guy found out at a LAN that his teammate was from whatever country. It could be a racist black guy who finds it as a white guy. And because he's already teammates with him, that actually could help to transcend racism. It could show that person that it's like a primitive way of thinking, you know.
I think popular media likes to make gaming about people being edgy and about, oh man, this person...
It's just because it's a way to get clicks, you know. It's a way to make people go, oh, I'm so mad at this article, click it, yeah.
This person,
it's just hype.
This person shot up a school. He was a vid, gun game player. Like, but gaming has done a lot of progressive things for, I feel like, the youth. And in terms of like, in terms of giving them opportunities and in terms of actually opening them up to like what's available. Okay.
Well, and one of the best angles to ever sell gaming to mothers is if your kid's indoors playing League of Legends 10 hours a day, he's not going to shoot someone or get shot. He's going to be indoors playing League of Legends 10 hours a day. Like, that's actually a positive.
I really hate the fucking like association with like gamers being involved with like shooting and stuff. I feel like you're far less likely to be involved in shooting if you stay inside and play games versus like if you go outside and you're allowed to interact with people, everyone.
The real joke there, Loco, is like, they're right. There is a correlation between gamers and shooting people because almost everyone's a gamer. So as a result, if everyone's a gamer, then some of us are shooters. So yes, logically that would make sense. Like, that's just because gaming's ubiquitous. Like, it's a whack angle, I agree. Anyway, well, I think this is the end of the episode. We've done a pretty good one.
All right. Well, thanks for being on the show.